Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at filipinopod101.com.
Hi everyone! Do you know how to say I love you in Filipino? In this lesson, you'll learn 3 different ways to say it. Let's start with how to express your feelings to your loved one.
Mahal kita. Mahal kita. Mahal kita.
Or if you want to explain those butterflies in your stomach, you can say,
May gusto ako sa'yo. May gusto ako sa'yo. May gusto ako sa'yo.
and when you feel that I love you is not enough, you can say,
Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo. Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo. Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo.
10 things to do in the summer in the Philippines. First word is magbiyahe sa ibang bansa. To travel abroad. The first word is magbiyahe sa ibang bansa, which means to travel abroad. Magbabiyahe ako sa ibang bansa pag may nakita akong murang plane ticket. I'll travel abroad when I find a cheap plane ticket. So my favorite place actually is El Nido. It's really, what do you call this? Like, it's very calm. The water is not cold, it's not warm, it's just perfect. So you will enjoy it. So start booking now. Mag-relax sa beach. To relax at the beach. Next we have mag-relax sa beach, which means to relax at the beach. Abril ang buwan na pinakamainam na mag-relax sa beach. April is the best month to relax on the beach. So actually for this month, it is now something like 30 to 40 degrees, and April and March are considered the hottest months in the country. Mag-aral ng Filipino gamit ang filipinopod101.com. To learn Filipino with filipinopod101.com. Mag-aral ng Filipino gamit ang filipinopod101.com, which means to learn Filipino with filipinopod101.com. So for example, if you really are very eager to learn Filipino this summer, you can say, subukan mong mag-aral ng Filipino gamit ang filipinopod101.com at kasama ang mga kaibigan mong Pilipino. Try learning Filipino using filipinopod101.com with your Filipino friends. Matutong magluto ng pagkaing Pilipino. To learn to cook Filipino food. Matutong magluto ng pagkaing Pilipino. To learn to cook Filipino food. So if you want to use it in a sentence, in Filipino, you can say, kung gusto mong matutong magluto ng pagkaing Pilipino, magsimula ka sa adobo. In English, you can say, if you want to learn to cook Filipino food, start with adobo because it's the easiest thing to cook. Mag-ihaw. To have a barbecue. Next word is mag-ihaw, which means to have a barbecue. Pinakamainam ang mag-ihaw ng manok sa beach. It is best to have a chicken barbecue on the beach. You can actually barbecue other stuff, like from chicken, pork, to innards. We even have a coagulated blood. Mag-party, magdamag. To party all night. Next word is mag-party, magdamag. To party all night. Huwag kang masyadong maglasing kung gusto mong mag-party, magdamag. Don't get drunk if you want to party all night. In the summer, it's best to party all night. And actually, in many, say, Boracay, if you go to Boracay, there are lots of parties all night with bonfire, lots of music, drinking. So, if you want to experience all of these, book a cheap ticket now and come to the Philippines. Mag-hiking. To go hiking. Mag-hiking. In English, to go hiking. For example, we can say, kung gusto mong mag-hiking, siguraduhin mo muna na kaya ng katawan mo. If you want to go hiking, make sure your body can handle it. So now it's very, what they call this, like a thing for young people to climb Mount Pulag, which is the third highest peak in the country. According to Google, it's in Nueva Vizcaya, which is in a bit north of Manila. Magsaya kasama ang mga kaibigan. To have fun with friends. Magsaya kasama ang mga kaibigan. In English, to have fun with friends. Mas mainam pang magsaya kasama ang mga kaibigan kaysa mag-party, magdamag. It's better to have fun with friends than to party all night. So much not funnier. But you can do anything that you want since it's summer. No one will judge you, it's summer. Dumalo ng summer school. To attend summer school. Next word is dumalo ng summer school. To attend summer school. So in Filipino, you can use it in a sentence like, kaysa sa maglaro ka lang ng computer sa bahay, mas mabuti pang dumalo ka na lang sa summer school. Instead of just playing computer games at home, it's better if you attend a summer school. Manatili sa bahay at mag-internet. To stay inside and browse the internet. Manatili sa bahay at mag-internet. To stay inside and browse the internet. For example, you can say in Filipino, pag tinatamad akong lumabas, nananatili lang ako sa bahay at nag-i-internet. When I'm too lazy to go out, I just stay at home and browse the internet. You put on nice clothes and then the moment you step out of the door, you just melt. So I kind of understand like how some people would want to just stay indoors during summer. And so what you can do is to browse the internet. Wow. 10 phrases for surviving back to school. Let's look at our first word, and it is backpack. In Filipino, you say backpack, right? So if you want to say backpack, you say backpack. It's a less it's like a less a because of the K actually. It kind of sounds a bit rolled, right? So backpack. So if you want to say backpack, you say backpack. So you want to ask your friend, which is easier to carry, a backpack or a shoulder bag? Then you say in Filipino, ano ang mas madaling buhatin, backpack o shoulder bag? So the next word is kaklase, or in English, classmate. So for example, you have a very beautiful classmate in your school. So in Filipino, you would say, sikat ang maganda kong kaklase sa buong paaralan. My beautiful classmate is popular in the school. Of course, where would she be popular? She's your classmate, right? If you say, my beautiful friend is popular in the school, okay, yeah, but my beautiful classmate is popular in this. Kaklase is like a general, I guess it's just a term for classmate, right? We don't use it for any other thing, just classmate. Okay, so the next word is takdang aralin, or homework. In Filipino, you would say, nakikita ko ang halaga ng hindi pagkopya ng takdang aralin. I can see the value of not cheating on my homework. Good for you. Okay, next word is pagsusulit. This is very important, so remember this. It might come up in your exam.
Nice.
Because pagsusulit means exam. So for example, you want to be really sarcastic to someone who got a high grade in their exam. So you will tell them, ang mataas na grado sa pagsusulit ay hindi nangangahulugan na matalino ka. Or in English, a high grade in the examination doesn't mean you are intelligent. Hello, Supe. I have a friend. We're really friends. But in high school, he was the valedictorian. And I don't really study in high school. But he was the valedictorian. And then now we are always telling him, you only became valedictorian because you are good at memorization. And what's nice about him is that he admits it. That's why we're still friends. The next word is summer vacation. In English, it is summer break. Actually, it's also in English, summer vacation. But when we say summer break in Filipino, we don't use the term summer break, but we use summer vacation more, right? In Filipino, you would say, masaya ang summer vacation. Summer break is fun. Actually, in the Philippines, all year round it's summer. But it's not all year round it's vacation, no. It's just summer. And usually we have summer vacation from end of March, beginning of April, for in time with the Holy Week, right? And that's actually the period when we have the hottest temperature. Sometimes around 40, right? 38, 40. Yeah, so it can get really hot. But because we have lots of beaches, there's always some place where you can go. And it's pretty cheap everywhere you go. And so summer break is fun. The next word is paaralan or school. Probably, like many people, you have high hopes for yourself. So you want to say that you want to enter into a good school. So what you say in Filipino is, gusto kong makapasok sa magandang paaralan. I want to enter into a good school. Next word is pag-aaral or to study. Ang pag-aaral ay isang pribilehiyo. In English, studying is a privilege. Whether you think of it as a privilege or as a right or as a responsibility, it's actually up to you. But hopefully you are studying hard. The next set of words are actually phrases/sentences that you will use when you go to school. Actually, you can use it also for different things. You just change some words in it. So the first sentence is, ito ang unang araw ng klase. Or, it's the first day of class. So you can also use it if you're working. You can say, ito ang unang araw ko sa trabaho. Or you can also use it for many things. Like you have a boyfriend or girlfriend. This is our first day together. So you can say, it's our first day together. Ito ang unang araw namin. So next sentence is, pareho tayo ng klase. Which in English is, we are in the same class. This is very useful actually if you're very enthusiastic to see your friend that you haven't seen since summer vacation. The next sentence is, anong mga klase ang kukunin mo? What classes are you taking? This, again, I think this is more applicable for college students, right? Because in the Philippines, especially, it depends on the university. But for example, the university where I went to, UP, right? Go UP. And I'm teaching English. So usually, if you want to be in the same class with your friend, then you ask, what classes are you taking?
Hi everyone! Do you know the 1,000 most useful phrases in Filipino? In this lesson, you'll be able to know all of them. So sit back, relax, and have a cup of tea as you listen and learn.
Saan ba ang banyo?
Mawalang galang lang po.
Galing.
May reservation ako. Magkano to?
Ano ito?
Salamat! Talaga? Pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Libre ba ang wifi?
Pwede ko naman kunin ang bill? Meron ba kayong marirecommend? Pwede ko bang isukat ito?
You just learned the 1,000 most useful phrases in Filipino. And if you're interested in learning more, try learning the Core 2000 word list. With this, you'll understand 95% of the language, and best of all, this is not a joke. Check out the description below and go to filipinopod101.com now. See you next time.
The top 25 phrases. Let's begin. Kamusta ka? Hello, how are you? The first phrase is kamusta ka? Hello or how are you? So when you're meeting someone for the first time, you try to be a bit more polite and say, instead of kamusta ka, you say kamusta po kayo, which is the same as hello, how are you? Magandang umaga. Good morning. So the next word is magandang umaga, which means good morning. People there are very, very warm, very kind. So it's very common to hear like people greeting each other when they pass by each other in the corridor and like in the classroom, for example, in the office. Magandang umaga sa inyong lahat. Magandang tanghali. Good noon. So now what do we say when it's noon? We say magandang tanghali. Good noon. In the Philippines, especially during lunchtime, when you come in and then like it's everyone is eating, you always say magandang tanghali. And then when they hear you say it, you sound as if you're a native speaker. Magandang hapon. Good afternoon. Okay, so when the morning is done, noon is over, then what do you say? Magandang hapon. Good afternoon. Magandang gabi. Good evening. So if you want to say good evening, you say magandang gabi. Anong pangalan mo? What's your name? So what if you're going to ask someone for their name? So you say, anong pangalan mo? Or, what's your name? If you meet someone for the first time, if it's the morning, you say, good morning. What's your name? Magandang umaga, anong pangalan mo? When you want to ask someone for their name, you need to be polite. So, you add po, which is the particle, and then you use the plural form of you. So you say, ano pong pangalan nyo? Ako si, I'm. If you are on the receiving end of that question, then you say, ako si, name. Or, I'm, name. Ako si Erica. I'm Erica. Ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. Nice to meet you. If you want to express now how happy you are to meet this new person, then you would say, ikinagagalak kong makilala ka. Nice to meet you. Since this is the first time you're meeting this person, you should use the polite form, which is, ikinagagalak ko po kayong makilala. Ayos lang ako. Ikaw. I'm fine. And you? When someone asks you, how are you? Of course, either you are okay or you're not. You will say, you are fine. So how do you say it in Filipino? You would say, ayos lang ako. Ikaw. In English, I'm fine. And you? Or if you are not okay, you can say, ayos lang ako. Ikaw. Paki. Please. So if you want to ask someone for a favor, what would you say? In English, we say please. In Filipino, we use a prefix that we say as paki. We add to another verb. So for example, we say, please bring this to the office. Then you will say in Filipino, pakidala ito sa opisina. Salamat. Thank you. Salamat or thank you. Walang anuman. You're welcome. Then, you also want to be polite and say, you're welcome. Or in Filipino, walang anuman. Oo. Yes. How do you express agreement in Filipino? You say, oo, which means yes. Very simple. For example, there's an older person talking to you and you want to say yes. You should be a bit more polite and say, opo. Hindi. No. So what if you want to say no? Then you use hindi. Or if you want to be polite, you say hindi po. Sige. Okay. So say you have a friend who asks you, do you want to drink with me all night, have party all night, you know, those kind of things. And then you say, yeah, fine, okay. So in Filipino, you say, sige. Paumanhin. Excuse me. So for example, you have an older colleague at work and this person is busy, but you need to ask her for something. So you say, excuse me. And in Filipino, you say, paumanhin or paumanhin po, to be more polite. Patawad. I'm sorry. If you did something really, really bad, then we use patawad. I'm sorry. Anong oras na? What time is it? So what does anong oras na mean? It means, what time is it? Nasaan ang CR? Where is the restroom? Nasaan ang CR? Or, to be polite, because even at that time, you have to be polite, even if it's like really urgent. You have to be polite. You say, nasaan po ang CR? Hindi ko alam. I don't know. Hindi ko alam. I don't know. If your boss asks you, oh, where is your office mate? This person? And then you don't know, then you say, hindi ko po alam. Sandali lang. Wait a moment. So if you say to your boss, because your boss is asking you, where is the report? You want to say, wait a moment. So you say, sandali lang po. So your friends came over to your house and you haven't taken a bath. You haven't fixed yourself. And then your friends just want to go out to have fun. But you want to say, wait a moment, wait a minute. give me like an hour or something to at least get ready. So you say, sandali lang. Magkano ito? How much is this? So you finally got dressed and then you went out with your friend and you are at the mall, like looking at some nice pearls, because in the Philippines we have lots of pearls. How will you ask the salesperson? So you can say, magkano po ito? Or if you're a friend, or if it's like a younger salesperson probably, you can just simply say, magkano ito? How much is this? Pwede bang makuha na ang bill? Could I get the check, please? After dinner, you want to pay because it's your treat, because you forced your friends to eat adobo. So you would ask the waitress or the waiter for the check. So how do you say it in Filipino? Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Could I get the check, please? Or, if you cannot remember all these, just simply do this. Tulong. Help. So you're walking in the street and then you're very not careful with your things. So you're walking, you're holding your bag like this, and someone stole your bag. Like, you want to call for help. So what do you say? You say, tulong, help. And then the more you scream it, the more people will hear you. Hanggang sa muli. See you again soon. It's the end of the day and you've had fun with your friends. So you tell your friends, oh, okay, bye. See you again soon. Which in Filipino is hanggang sa muli. But in regular conversations, you don't really say this. We tend to say, see you, or sige. Hi everybody, I'm Erica from FilipinoPod101.com. Do you know what monsters Filipino people are scared of? In this lesson, you'll learn about 3 scary monsters in the Philippines. Let's start with the most popular monster, manananggal. Ma-na-nang-gal. It means flying vampire. The manananggal is a flying vampire torso and head. This horrific vampire separates its upper body from the rest of his body at night. It then flies around to prey on the fetuses of pregnant women using its very long tongue. That sounds pretty scary, right? You might have heard about the next monster. The next one is Tiyanak. Tiyanak. It can be translated as evil baby in English. Tiyanak can be the offspring of a demon and the woman, or it can be the spirit of an aborted fetus seeking revenge. It lures people into the woods by crying like a baby. Okay, here's the last monster. Capre. Capre. Have you heard of this next one? This is the smoking giant. This monster is hairy and has a pair of red eyes. It is usually seen in big old trees and is not necessarily evil. However, it gets angry and vengeful when its tree is cut down. It also loves smoking cigars. Let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what we've learned. Listen to the names of each monster and repeat after me. Flying vampire. Manananggal. Manananggal. Evil baby. Tiyanak. Tiyanak. Smoking giant. Capre. Capre. Well done! In the Philippines, children sometimes dress up in scary monster costumes and attend parties during Halloween. Traditionally, From the evening of October 31st till November the 2nd, All Souls and All Saints Days are observed. Thousands of Filipinos visit cemeteries to pray at and clean the family graves and offer flowers, candles, and snacks. The atmosphere is festive and jovial, like a family reunion. And that's it! You just learned about 3 of the scariest monsters in the Philippines. Now learn Filipino twice as fast by downloading all your PDF cheat sheets, including survival phrases, pickup lines, business etiquette, and more. Check out the description below and go to FilipinoPod101.com now. I'll see you next time. Hanggang sa muli! It can be translated as evil baby in English. Because it's an evil baby.
Shy manananggal. Because I don't show myself to people. Ang hago. Tulungan nga. Kakain nga. I can't see. I just like here. Oh god, wait, there's a deep one. Okay, go.
20 words you'll need for the beach. Okay, the first word is shades. Shades actually means sunglasses because it shades your eyes from the sun. For example, pahiram naman ng shades mo. Can I borrow your sunglasses? Salamat. Okay, the next one is tabing dagat, meaning beach. Nakatira ako malapit sa tabing dagat. I live near the beach. I feel like it's peaceful and you could hear the waves crashing. Let's just hope that it's not a huge wave crashing into your house. Yeah, beach. Paglangoy, swimming. Ang paglangoy ay kayang matutunan ng lahat. Swimming is a skill that everyone can learn. I still have hope. Araw, meaning sun. Mas gusto ko ang araw kaysa sa buwan. I prefer the sun to the moon. Kabibe or seashell. Mahilig akong mangolekta ng kabibe. I enjoy collecting seashells. Why though? Swimsuit, which is definitely has the same meaning as swimsuit. Bawal ang hindi naka-swimsuit sa swimming pool na ito. Those who are not wearing swimsuits are not allowed in the swimming pool. I just come in with like t-shirt and shorts. I can't go in. Tagapagsagip, meaning lifeguard. We usually just call them lifeguards anyway. Huwag kang lalayo sa hindi tanaw ng tagapagsagip. Don't go far away beyond the watch of the lifeguard. Yeah, cause like if he can't see you drowning, he can't come and save you. Jet ski! I'm not even saying the meaning for this one. Cause you know what it is. Mayayaman lang ang nakakabili ng sariling jet ski. Only those who are rich can buy their own jet ski. Yeah, cause it's expensive and you don't need it for daily life. Okay, next is beach chair. Meaning, beach chair. For example, ayokong lumangoy kaya doon na lang ako sa may beach chair. I don't want to swim so I'll just stay by the beach chairs. Sandcastle, which means sandcastle. Hindi ko na-enjoy ang paggawa ng sandcastle nung ako ay bata pa dahil parati na lang itong inaalon ng tubig. I never enjoyed building sandcastles when I was young since it kept being washed away. Like, I never really built sandcastles when I was young. It's more of like, let's bury someone in the sand. Yeah. And make like mermaid figures of them. Yeah, you get what I mean. Okay, the next one is palamigan, meaning cooler. This is kind of a straightforward. Lamig means cold or cool. And like if you put the prefix pa and the suffix an, it's gonna be like the place where. So it's like the place where cold. But actually, yeah, most people would just call it a coalman. Yeah, it's one of those brand names that became common names. For example, siguraduhin yung dalhin ang palamigan sa beach para masarap ang inumin. Make sure to bring the cooler on the beach so that our drinks would be thirst quenching. Cause like everywhere it's hot, so we like our drinks cold. A cooler is a must-have. Okay, next is laki ng tubig or tide. Usually in the Philippines, we just call it either high tide or low tide. But anyway, you could use it in the sample sentence. Hindi ako marunong tumingin ng pagpalit ng laki ng tubig. I don't know how to observe the change of tides. Guess if it's like low, it's low tide, and if it's high, it's high tide. There's this expression, if you ask Filipinos like how many islands are there in the Philippines, they would ask you back, in high tide or low tide? Kulay balat, meaning tan. Bakit ang mga may kulay balat ay gusto magpaputi at ang mga maputi ay gusto magkakulay balat? Why is it that people with tan skin want to have pale skin and people with pale skin want to have tan skin? This is so true. Just be proud of your skin color. Next is snorkeling, meaning snorkeling. May magandang snorkeling spot sa Coron, Palawan. There is a nice snorkeling spot in Coron, Palawan. If you want to go to a beach in the Philippines, please go to Palawan because it's very beautiful. Chinelas or flip-flop. Hindi na kailangan magdala ng sapatos pag pupunta sa beach. Chinelas na lang. There is no need to bring shoes when going to the beach. Just wear flip-flops. Chinelas is part of like Filipino culture. It's like the footwear you use at home. It's also the footwear that parents might use if you're being naughty. Sunblock or sunscreen. Kailangan maglagay ng sunblock dahil hindi maganda sa katawan ang matinding sikat ng araw. It's necessary to put on sunscreen because the strong UV rays is not good for your skin. Yeah, this is very important because like the sun could be very damaging to your skin. Bikini, meaning bikini. Bihira lang ang nakabikini sa beach sa Pilipinas. It's quite rare for people to wear bikinis in the beaches in the Philippines. I never really tried to count who has bikinis and who has swimsuits and who has just t-shirts and shorts. Everyone is free. Beach volleyball, meaning beach volleyball. There's an easy one for you. Beach volleyball ang usang sport kapag tag-init. Beach volleyball is a trendy sport during the summer. Okay, the next word is puno ng niyog. Coconut tree. Noong bata kami, mahilig kaming umakyat sa puno ng niyog. When we were young, we liked to climb the coconut trees so that you get the coconuts. The next one is pamaypay, meaning fan. Gusto kong bumili ng pamaypay. I want to buy a fan. It's like, yeah, like if it's hot, you just need a fan. Or a lot of fans. We also use fans for barbecuing, so it's very popular during the summer.
10 must-know autumn vocabulary words in Filipino. Okay, now let's go to the first word. It's sweater, meaning sweater. You got that one right. Filipinos don't usually use sweater because it's hot. There's this place called Baguio City, like north of Manila. It's cooler there, and it's definitely like the summer capital because everyone wants to go to the cooler place. I guess that's where you might need a sweater. Or if you want to go to the cinema, which has their aircon on full blast, then maybe you need a sweater. And where would you get a sweater? There's this store that has recently come to the Philippines, but it's a Japanese brand, you know, Uniqlo. Well, you could use this sentence, maraming murang sweater na mabibili sa Uniqlo, which means there are a lot of cheap sweaters that can be bought at Uniqlo. Well, it's not actually cheap if you're earning Filipino peso. Just saying. Okay, moving on to the next one, it's maulan, meaning rainy. Ulan means rain, and we have ma in front of adjectives, so maulan. Maulan means rainy. Ayaw ko ng maulan dahil mahirap maglakad. I don't like rainy days since it's hard to walk. It's not like gravity is 10 times more powerful if it's raining. A lot of Filipinos never bring umbrellas. We never check the weather if it's gonna rain or whatever. So usually people get caught in the rain and just like go like, rain, need to get out now. Or they just like stay where they are and like let the rain pass. The next one is mahangin, meaning windy. Actually, mahangin is also slang for someone who's like super arrogant, cause like a lot of air. It's like, yeah, mahangin. Kahit hindi mababa ang temperatura, pwede ka pa rin ginawin kung mahangin. Even if the temperature is not low, you can still catch a chill if it's windy. Okay, the next one is maginaw, meaning cool. Ang pinakamaginaw na lugar sa Pilipinas ay ang Baguio. Baguio is the coolest place in the Philippines, like temperature-wise. Okay, so the next word is definitely something you want to know if you want to talk about autumn. It's taglagas. Taglagas means autumn. Walang taglagas sa Pilipinas. There is no autumn in the Philippines because tropical climate, hot and hotter only, with a dash of rain and thunder. Next one is malamig, which means cold. You know what's good cold? Drinks. Cold drinks. I really want a cold drink right now. Okay, so like maybe you want to compare two cities like Tokyo and Toronto. Which one is colder? Well, in Filipino, you can use this sentence. Mas malamig ang taglamig sa Toronto kaysa sa Tokyo. The winter in Toronto is colder than Tokyo. Yeah, you know, the earth closer to the sun, farther from the sun is colder. Yay! Science! The next word, it's castañas, meaning chestnut. Okay, for a sample sentence, mahilig ang nanay ko sa castañas. My mom is fond of chestnuts. Is my mom fond of chestnut? I don't know. Mommy, mahilig ka ba sa chestnut? Please comment. So the next word is damit na may mahabang manggas or long sleeve shirt. Mas formal tingnan ang damit na may mahabang manggas. A long sleeve shirt looks more formal. Next word is mga dahong nalalagas, meaning falling leaves. Falling leaves. Maybe you're one of those like melancholic people and like you think that this is so like sad and like makes you think about life. Well, then you could use the sentence. Nakakalungkot makita ang mga dahon na nalalagas. It's lonely to see falling leaves. The next one is Araw ng Pasasalamat, which means Thanksgiving. So we also don't have this in the Philippines. Yeah, if you're American and you want to talk about it, you could also say Thanksgiving, but like if you want to like go full Filipino, then please use Araw ng Pasasalamat. It literally means day of thanking.
How are your Filipino listening skills? First, you'll see an image and hear a question. Next comes a short dialogue. Listen carefully and see if you can answer correctly. We'll show you the answer at the end. Are you ready?
May isang lalaking nagrereklamo tungkol sa mga produktong binili niya online. Ano ang kanyang ipapapalit? Opo, ito ang linya para sa customer service.
Mawalang galang lang. Kakarating lang ng mga pinamili ko pero hindi ito ang mga in-order ko.
Pasensya na po. Ano po ba ang mali sa mga naipadala sa inyo?
Ang in-order ko ay jacket na may 3 butones pero itong nakuha ko ay may 2 lang.
Ah, maling modelo po siguro yung naipadala. Pasensya na po talaga kayo. Papapalitan po namin agad kaya maaari niyo po bang ipadala sa amin ang freight collect?
Oo, at ang shirt na in-order ko ay iba sa nakita ko sa inyong website. Hindi ito ang inasahan ko kaya gusto ko rin sanang ibalik.
Ano po ang iba?
Ang akala ko, t-shirt ito na walang kolyar pero polo shirt pala ito na may kolyar.
Ah, naintindihan ko. Ginupit niyo na po ba ang tag?
Oo, pero hindi talaga ito kamukha ng nasa larawan. Pwede ko pa rin ba itong isauli?
Sir, mayroon po kami nito sa parehong may kolyar at wala. Ayon po sa aming datos, pinili po ninyo ang may kolyar.
Talaga? E di kung ganoon, mukhang mali pala ang napili kong damit.
Maari po kaming magpalit ng produkto hanggat nakakabit ang tag. Pero mahirap na pong gawin yun kapag natanggal na ang tag.
Ah, kung ganoon, maaari bang pakipalitan na lang ang jacket?
Sigurado po, pasensya na po sa abala. Ano ang kanyang ipapapalit? May isang lalaking nagrereklamo tungkol sa mga produktong binili niya online. Ano ang kanyang ipapapalit? Opo, ito ang linya para sa customer service.
Mawalang galang lang. Kakadating lang ng mga pinamili ko pero hindi ito ang mga in-order ko.
Pasensya na po. Ano po ba ang mali sa mga naipadala sa inyo?
Ang in-order ko ay jacket na may 3 butones pero itong nakuha ko ay may 2 lang.
Ah, maling modelo po siguro yung naipadala. Pasensya na po talaga kayo. Papapalitan po namin agad kaya maari niyo po bang ipadala sa amin ang freight collect?
Oo, at ang shirt na in-order ko ay iba sa nakita ko sa inyong website. Hindi ito ang inasahan ko kaya gusto ko rin sanang ibalik.
Ano po ang iba?
Ang akala ko, t-shirt ito na walang kolyar, pero polo shirt pala ito na may kolyar.
Ah, naintindihan ko. Ginupit niyo na po ba ang tag?
Oo, pero hindi talaga ito kamukha ng nasa larawan. Pwede ko pa rin ba itong isauli?
Sir, mayroon po kami nito sa parehong may kolyar at wala. Ayon po sa aming datos, pinili po ninyo ang may kolyar.
Talaga? E di kung ganoon, mukhang mali pala ang napili kong damit.
Maari po kaming magpalit ng produkto hanggat nakakabit ang tag. Pero mahirap na pong gawin yun kapag natanggal na ang tag.
Ah, kung ganoon, maaari bang pakipalitan na lang ang jacket?
Sigurado po, pasensya na po sa abala.
Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at filipinopod101.com.
Genki. Hi everyone. Hi everyone, I'm Erica and welcome to Filipino Top Words. For today, we will learn the 10 phrases you never want to hear. So let's begin. Nadagdagan ba ang timbang mo nitong nakaraan? Have you gained weight recently? The first phrase you won't ever want to hear is, nadagdagan ba ang timbang mo nitong nakaraan? In English, have you gained weight recently? I don't know. I also don't like hearing it, but I don't mind it, but I don't like hearing it. This is nicely put, actually. So for Filipinos, they would ask you directly, they would not ask you, they would comment on you. Oh, you look fatter, right? Or you look bigger. So in Filipino, you got a bit bigger or you got fatter, you became bigger. In Filipino is tumaba ka. But usually like that, like aunts, they see you, for example, you've been away for quite some time, you come back and then your aunts will be like, oh, tumaba ka. Right? Especially in the Philippines, you get lots of food every time you go to a restaurant. And there's another thing. Usually, you have your rice, right? And then you have your meat. And then you eat your rice with your meat. And then you realize, oh, I still have some more meat left. Then you'll get another serving of rice. And then you eat your rice. And then you eat your meat. And then you realize, I don't have any more meat, but I still have rice. And then, okay, I'll get another serving of meat. And then it's like, and it happens, you know. Mayroon kang puting buhok. You have gray hair. So the next phrase that you won't ever want to hear is mayroon kang puting buhok. Or in English, you have gray hair or white. When someone tells me I have gray hair, I immediately try to have it pulled. For me, for instance, I'm always like concerned. I just want my hair to be always like this really shiny black. And then, so we take care of it, right? Like you cover your hair also when because too much sun can make your hair, what can damage your hair, like make it a bit lighter, almost brown. But I want my hair always to be black, so I'm kind of really very like careful with it. Sinabi ko na sayo. I told you so. Sinabi ko na sayo. Or, I told you so. Who wants to hear this? No one, right? In any other language, no one will hear this, I think. Right? Because it just like drives your mistake into your face. Like, you did this. I told you so. You should have done this. And if you're Filipino, your immediate response would be, like, obvious ba? Or isn't it obvious? Just like, leave.
Like, ano nga yun?
Because Filipinos can be very sarcastic also. So they would just be like, yeah, it happened. So, nothing can be done. So, what's the point of saying, I told you so? Tanggal ka na sa trabaho. You're fired. Tanggal ka na sa trabaho. Or, you're fired. So, if you're at work, do your job properly because they're paying you. Then might as well do it, right? Hindi ikaw ang problema. Ako. It is not you. It is me. The next phrase that you don't want to hear, especially if you're splitting up, is hindi ikaw ang problema. Ako, basya, ako. Charot. Which in English is, it's not you. It is me. Okay. It's you then. If you insist, go ahead. Salamat sa pagpapadala ng iyong resume. Ngunit, ang posisyon ay napuno na. Thank you for your resume. However, the position has been filled. The next phrase that no one ever wants to hear is actually not a phrase. It's actually 2 sentences. But still, you don't want to hear or you don't want to read, right? Is, salamat sa pagpapadala ng iyong resume. Ngunit, ang posisyon ay napuno na. Or, thank you for your resume. However, the position has been filled.
Next.
But this is a nice thing actually to receive, especially if you're applying, right, for jobs, because you're not left just waiting. So at least you know, okay, this is not for me. I'm going to move on, look for another boyfriend or another girlfriend. Usually goes. Dapat tayong makipagkita sa ibang mga tao. We should see other people. The next phrase you hopefully won't hear is, dapat tayong makipagkita sa ibang mga tao. Or, we should see other people. I don't know why it's so sad. It's all about rejection. So, hopefully you don't get to experience this. Kailangan natin mag-usap. We need to talk. So, the next phrase that you don't ever want to hear is, kailangan natin mag-usap. Or, we need to talk. I think in any circumstance, this is not a nice phrase to hear, right? Whether it be your boyfriend, girlfriend, or your boss, then this is never a nice phrase to hear. So what do you do when someone tells you, we need to talk?
Mag-rosaryo ko.
Well, because we're Filipinos and we're religious, then we start praying at the rosary. Ang pangit mo. You're ugly. Next phrase that you definitely don't want to hear directed to you is, ang pangit mo. Or, you're ugly. I mean, who would say this? Is there anyone who will say this? Will anyone say this?
Super mean.
Are you a kid to say this?
Yeah.
I think only kids say this, right? And even kids nowadays are kind of a bit like politically correct. They don't really just say you're ugly. You are ugly. So if someone tells this to you, then just unfriend this person. You don't need that kind of negativity in your life. Pasensya na, nakalimutan ko. Sorry, I forgot. Pasensya na, nakalimutan ko. Which in English is, sorry, I forgot. This is very useful actually, but if it's directed to you, and for instance, the thing that was forgotten is very important, then you don't want to hear this. Say, your boyfriend to buy bread on his way home, right? And he forgot, so you don't have breakfast. So, can you eat, sorry, I forgot?
So you just break his fist.
So that's it for this lesson. Hope you learned phrases that you don't want to hear. Don't try using those phrases because otherwise you will also hear more phrases that you don't want to hear. Don't ever want to hear. So are there any other phrase that has been said to you that you realize you don't like? If there are, please don't forget to comment them down below and don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want more lessons in Filipino, go to filipinopod101.com and I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye-bye. Thank you for listening. I hope you won't have any problems with your partners. And always stay in love because the problem is you, not me. Hi, my name is Erica and welcome to Filipino Top Words. Our lesson for today is how to respond to how are you. Let's go. Kamusta? Kamusta? How are you? So the first word is how are you? In Filipino, kamusta? So this is very useful when you pass by someone, you want to know how they are, right? Or you just want to ask someone how they are. At ikaw? At ikaw. And you? At ikaw? Or in English, and you? How do you usually respond when people ask you, how are you? And you? So if you are trying to avoid answering this question, you can ask, at ikaw? Or, and you? Probably you're like feeling too tired from work or something, right? Or you can, like casually, more people would say, ikaw? Or just simply, ikaw? It all means, and you. So it's a kind of like a nice gesture if someone asks you, how are you? And then you want to ask the same question because you just want to be nice. Kamusta ka naman kamakailan? Kamusta ka naman kamakailan? How have you been recently? So if you want to be more specific about asking them how they are in a certain period of time, you can ask, kamusta ka naman kamakailan? Or, how have you been recently? So probably you would have friends that would have gone to vacation or would have found a new job or would have graduated from university, which is all me. And then you can ask them, how have you been recently? Mabuti ako. Mabuti ako. I'm fine. So how do you answer all these how are you questions and variations of how are you? First, you can say, if you are really feeling this, mabuti ako, or I'm fine. Of course, you can say it if you're not fine, right? I mean, if you just want to because sometimes when you say, I'm not so okay, I'm feeling a bit down, then they would ask you more things. But sometimes if you don't want to answer any of these things, but you are not fine, you can still say, I'm fine. But in Filipino, you ask people how are you because you want to know how they are. Or we don't really say this as a greeting. Okay naman ako. Okay naman ako. I'm not bad. Aside from I'm fine, how can you respond to how are you? You can say, okay naman ako, or I'm not bad. So if you are feeling like saying that you are not so fine, but you are also not fine, you can say, well, I'm not bad. It's okay. Everything's cool. But I'm crying inside. I'm dead inside. Okay. Inaantok ako. Inaantok ako. I'm sleepy. If you're feeling sleepy, you can say, inaantok ako, or I'm sleepy. After lunch, usually that's the time when you feel this, you're really sleepy. Even though you have lots of work, you're feeling sleepy, or sometimes you don't have lots of work, you're feeling sleepy. So you can say it. It's valid. It's okay. Just don't say it to your boss. I don't think if your boss asks you, how are you? I'm sleepy. Oh, that's not really good. Well, probably you should go home, not come back anymore. Goodbye. Thank you for your service. That's how it will go, right? Masama ang pakiramdam ko. Masama ang pakiramdam ko. I'm feeling bad. Or if you are not feeling so well, you can say, masama ang pakiramdam ko. Or, I'm feeling bad. So, you can say this if you have a bit of cold, for instance, or your stomach is upset, or what else? Or you have a broken heart, like those kinds of things. So if you want to say that you're feeling bad, you say, masama ang pakiramdam ko. Okay ako. Okay ako. I'm okay. But what if you're just fine? What if you're just okay, but you don't want to say I'm fine? Or mabuti naman ako, or ayos naman ako? You can also say casually, okay ako. Which is very casual. Very simple, okay ako. Okay na okay ako. Okay na okay ako. I'm great. If you want to say that you are really doing great, then you can say, okay na okay ako. You would have to note that in Filipino, when you repeat words, it, what's it called? It's like, it's a superlative version of the adjective, kind of. But it's not. But it's kind of like amps up the impact of the adjective. So it's equivalent to very. So you would say, okay na okay ako, meaning I'm super duper okay, right? Or if you're really, for instance, sleepy, you would say, antok na antok ako, instead of just saying antok ako, right? Salamat sa pagtatanong. Salamat sa pagtatanong. Thank you for asking. And for instance, you were feeling bad, and then this person that asked you, how are you, made you feel happy, then you can say, thank you for asking, or salamat sa pagtatanong. Because of course, you felt happy that someone asked you, especially if you're feeling bad. So that's it for the end of this lesson. Hope you learned something new. And what do you usually say to your friends, your colleagues, people who ask you how you are? And how do they respond to you? Leave them in the comment section, and don't forget to like, subscribe, and visit FilipinoPod101.com to learn more Filipino. Salamat! Hanggang sa muli!
Hi everyone, I'm Ice from FilipinoPod101.com. Do you know how to say I love you in Filipino? In this lesson, you learn 3 different ways to say I love you and a special phrase for Valentine's Day. Let's start with the most common phrase. Mahal kita. Mahal kita. I love you. This phrase is direct. You should use it only when confessing your love. If you want to be less direct, you can use this phrase. Mahalaga ka para sa akin. Mahalaga ka para sa akin. This means you mean so much to me. Now, if you want to be more romantic in expressing your love for someone, here's a phrase for you. Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo. Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo. This means words cannot describe my love for you. Now you know 3 different ways to say I love you in Filipino. And here's one more. What if you want to spend Valentine's Day with someone special? In that case, you can say, maaari bang ikaw ang aking maging Valentine? Maaari bang ikaw ang aking maging Valentine? This means, will you be my Valentine? Okay, let's wrap up this lesson by recapping what you've learned. Listen to the expression and repeat after me. I love you. Mahal kita. Mahal kita. You mean so much to me. Mahalaga ka para sa akin. Mahalaga ka para sa akin. Words cannot describe my love for you. Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo. Hindi kayang ilarawan ng mga salita ang pag-ibig ko para sa iyo. Will you be my Valentine? Maaari bang ikaw ang aking maging Valentine? Maaari bang ikaw ang aking maging Valentine? Well done! Here's a fun fact. Do you know about the Filipino courting tradition called harana? Harana is the tradition of serenading the person you're trying to woo from outside their house. It takes a lot of courage, but don't worry, you can have your friends back you up and play the guitar for you. You just learned 3 different ways to say I love you in Filipino, and 1 special phrase for Valentine's Day. I'll see you next time. Paalam. Filipino is probably I don't know how to use. And here's one more. Well done. Rare, medium rare.
You gotta be quiet.
Shh.
Funny.
Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at filipinopod101.com.
Hi guys, and welcome to Filipino Top Words. I'm Erica, and for today we will be learning about Filipino foods. So, you probably know, or you probably don't know, that there are many different and delicious Filipino foods. Adobo. Adobo. The first food that everyone should know about is adobo. In English, we also call it adobo. Adobo ang paborito kong pagkaing Pilipino. Adobo is my favorite Filipino dish. So actually, adobo is the first thing that I've ever learned to make. It's the easiest, so you just need soy sauce, vinegar, bay leaf, or laurel leaf, whatever you call them. Sometimes people call them bay leaf, sometimes laurel leaf. And peppercorns, right? And then just boil those things together with pork or chicken or pork and chicken, depending on what you want to eat. And then everything will be nice and soft. Chicharon. Chicharon. Next is chicharon. In English, chicharon. Ang chicharon ay gawa sa balat ng baboy. Chicharon is made from pig skin. So it's actually crackling pig skin. Yeah, it's very crunchy. But I saw some show where they made chicharon by putting it in the oven. And I put it in the oven, and then afterwards it came out really crackling. So that's how they made it. But I don't know if that's actually how you make it. I think the most popular brand of chicharon is Lapids. So if you want to try chicharon, try the Lapids chicharon. Just remember that's not very healthy. Try it, don't eat too much. You can also eat it with rice actually. Durian. Durian. Next food is, or fruit, is durian. Or actually just durian. Masarap ang durian kahit na may amoy ito. Durian, or durian, is delicious, even if it doesn't smell good. Yeah, it actually doesn't smell good. But it tastes nice. To me, it just tastes like jackfruit. I don't know about you. If you want to try durian, you go to the southern part of the Philippines. That's where you can get them cheaper. Yeah, fresher, more potent smell. Go to Davao, get them there fresh, and it's really good. Halo-halo. 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 In English, halo-halo. Tuwing tag-araw, mabenta ang halo-halo. Every summer, halo-halo sells well. So halo-halo is made up of crushed ice with some sweet beans, with different fruits, And sometimes, what other stuff? Nata de coco, or like sweet coconut things. And also leche flan or caramel flan. That's actually how it is, like caramel flan. Or sometimes, what is it? Sweet yam. You know yam, right? Ube. And then sometimes in some stores, they put ice cream on top of it. When I was young, my aunt actually sells halo-halo. So every summer, she makes halo-halo. And those are the best halo-halo. I don't really like halo-halo in other places. I only like her halo. But she didn't make them anymore because the way you make the crushed ice, it's very manual. Everything is manual. You have this small device, right? You know it, like to do this with the ice. It's not like you buy crushed ice already. So you have this small, like this device. So for every what's this glass of halo-halo, it takes a lot of time for you to get crushed ice. So my friend here drew halo-halo, and this is it. So this is the crushed ice, and these are the stuff that you can put inside, like sweet beans, some fruits, and then this is the caramel flan or the pudding. And then sometimes they have ice cream here. And then you use the spoon to halo-halo or to mix everything. So that's it. Kare-kare. Kare-kare or peanut stew. Next food is kare-kare. In English, kare-kare. Or, if you really want to be fancy, peanut stew. Masarap magluto ng kare-kare si Joy. Joy cooks delicious peanut stew. If you've already noticed, we always like repeating words for the names of our food. Halo-halo and kare-kare. Before when I was young, I only get to eat kare-kare during fiesta. Because it's kind of an expensive food to make. Because traditionally, you would make kare-kare with, how do you call this part?
Tuwalya?
Yeah, tuwalya. How do you say it?
Innards?
Like,
Intestine wall?
something, I think, stomach walls, stomach lining, right? Originally, it's with stomach lining. So I think that's kind of hard to come by and a bit expensive because you make it with cow innards, right? But it's really good. And then now, people like to eat the fast food. So there's lots of mixes for kare-kare. And before, when you really want to make kare-kare, you have to grind the peanuts by hand, everything by hand, right? To make peanut paste. But now you can just buy mixes and stuff. But still, the original kare-kare is very good. Now you can make it with pork, with beef, with chicken.
Or just vegetarian.
Or you can just use vegetables if you want to be vegetarian. Because it actually has lots of vegetables. Because even though it's peanut sauce, it actually doesn't have, what they call this? It has taste, but it's not salty, it's not sweet, as if there's no taste at all. So there's taste, but there's no taste at all. It's kind of weird. So you eat it with shrimp paste, or in Filipino, bagoong. Oh, it's so delicious. Okay. But I cannot eat paraga. It's not fiesta yet.
Yeah.
Lechon. Roasted suckling pig. Next is lechon, or roasted suckling pig. Tuwing Pasko, hindi mawawala ang lechon sa pagkaing Pilipino. Every Christmas, roasted suckling pig is always present in Filipino dishes. Lechon is expensive, so you only get lechon. It's an entire pig that's roasted. So usually, you roast it for a long time because you want everything to be even, right? The way it's cooked. And then at the end, you will get this really like crackling skin. Yeah, very, very crispy. And then you eat it with liver sauce. That's the best. You only get this usually every big festivals or in some families, Christmas. We don't do lechon for Christmas because in the city, you cannot really do actual lechon. But you can buy lechon. What happens is, you get lechon on Christmas. And then the next few days, you get lechon paksiw, which is the meat of the lechon cooked as a stew, right? With the liver sauce. And it's very good. That's my favorite, actually. I like lechon paksiw more than lechon. So this is lechon. I don't know if you can see. Aren't we going to insert pictures here? Here on this side, you will see lechon. Manga. Mango. Manga. Or mango. Mura lang ang mangga sa Pilipinas. Mango is cheap in the Philippines. And we have the best mangoes. I have a Thai friend. He admits that we have. And those red mangoes that you get in the store, they're not real mangoes. If you want to try real mangoes, go to the Philippines. Yeah, so we have two kinds of mangoes, the yellow ones and the green ones. The yellow ones are the usual, very sweet, very fragrant, best fruit in the world mangoes. The green one is the slightly sour ones that we call actually Indian mangoes. I don't know why. Because they're sour and because Filipinos really like to combine taste, sweet, spicy, sweet, salty, sour together. So we eat this sour green mangoes with shrimp paste. Or sometimes salt if you don't have shrimp paste. And it's really delicious. We eat that always in high school after class. Sinigang. Sinigang. Tamarind soup. Sinigang. Or sinigang. Or tamarind soup. But actually, it's not just tamarind soup because you can have sinigang based in guava, sinigang based in some other sour things. Masarap ang sinigang dahil sa saktong asim na lasa nito. Sakto. Tamarind soup is delicious because of its pleasantly sour taste. So, you can make sinigang with pork or with shrimp or with fish. But my favorite is pork sinigang. What is yours? Pork also. Before when I was young, I liked shrimp sinigang. But then I realized I like shrimp better in either curry or just in butter sauce because shrimp is better in butter sauce. So, sinigang is best with pork. Dinuguan. 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 Or in English, dinuguan. Ang dinuguan ay ang dugo ng baboy. Dinuguan is pig's blood. Oh, but I like it. I like dinuguan a lot. Especially if dinuguan has more meat. Because some dinuguan doesn't have any meat at all. Just like the pig's blood. It's not pig's blood. It's coagulated pig's blood, isn't it? No, just a bit of coagulation there. But it's like a stew kind of pig's blood. What do you say? What does it mean? But it's very delicious. And I like eating it with rice because we eat everything with rice, right? Next is sisig. Sisig. Everyone's favorite, sisig. Or, in English, sisig. Ang sisig ay mas masarap pag sisling sisig. Sisig is even more delicious if it's sizzling. I think the original idea of sisig is chopped pig's face. So the meat that you use there in sisig is pig's face. So you just cut up everything and then add some lime, liver, and then cut up everything and then make it to a sizzling plate. So everything is as if it's fried, right? And then you add some spicy things. Now in many restaurants you can order sisig in, say, pork sisig, right? Or tuna sisig. Oh. Tuna sisig is really good. That's it for today's lesson. Hope you learned something new. And have you ever tried any Filipino food? If you've tried something that we haven't said, please comment them down below and tell us if you like them or not. Or if you have tried the ones that we have said, please comment them down below and tell us if you like them. And hopefully you did. Because if you don't, then go. Get out. Bye. Don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to learn more Filipino, head on to filipinopod101.com. Till the next lesson. Nagbabago. Ano nga? Hanggang sa muli. Hello sa inyong lahat. Ako si Erica. Ang Kwaresma ay binubuo ng 40 araw mula Miyerkules ng Abo hanggang Huwebes Santo. Ang huling linggo ng Kwaresma ay tinatawag na Semana Santa at nagtatapos sa Linggo ng Pagkabuhay. Sa lesson na ito, malalaman natin kung ano-ano ang ginagawa ng mga Pilipino para obserbahan ang Kwaresma at ang Semana Santa. Alam niyo ba kung saan nanggagaling ang abo na ginagamit tuwing Miyerkules ng Abo? Sasabihin namin ang sagot sa katapusan ng video na ito. Ang Miyerkules ng Abo ang unang araw ng Kwaresma. Sa araw na ito, halos lahat ng tao ay nagsisimba at naglalagay ng hugis krus na abo sa kanilang mga noo. Simbolo ang abo ng pagiging pansamantala ng buhay. Ito rin ay simbolo ng pagtanggap ng pagiging makasalanan. Sa buong 40 araw ng Kwaresma, marami sa mga debotong Katoliko ang nag-aalay ng isang sakripisyo bilang uri ng pagsisisi sa kanilang mga kasalanan at bilang paggunita sa paghihirap ni Hesukristo. Sa mga araw na ito rin, ipinagbabawal sa mga Katoliko ang pagkain ng karne at pinapayuhan ng lahat na mag-ayuno. Ang pinakaimportanteng panahon kung Kwaresma ay ang huling linggo na tinatawag na Semana Santa. Halos buong linggo ay idinedeklara bilang pampublikong holiday. Sa linggong ito, isinasagawa ng mga deboto ang pabasa ng pasyon, prosesyon, bisita iglesia at salubong bilang mga paraan ng pagninilay at pagsisisi. Alam niyo ba na ang 40 araw ng Kwaresma ay bilang pag-alala sa 40 araw ng pag-aayuno ni Jesus? Sa Latin, ang Kwaresma ay tinatawag na Quadragesima, na ang ibig sabihin ay ika-40. At ngayon, ibibigay ko na ang sagot sa tanong kanina. Alam niyo ba kung saan nanggagaling ang abo na ginagamit tuwing Miyerkules ng Abo? Ang abo ay nanggagaling sa mga palaspas na binendisyonan noong linggo ng palaspas ng nakaraang taon. Ang paglalagay ng abo sa noo ay isang paalala na ang tao ay nagmumula sa abo at magbabalik sa abo sa dulo ng kanyang buhay. Kamusta ang lesson na ito? May interesanteng bagay ba kayong natutunan? Paano nyo inoobserbahan ang Kwaresma? Mag-iwan kayo ng komento sa filipinopod101.com. Hanggang sa susunod na lesson. Hello guys and welcome to Filipino Top Words. I'm Erica.
And I'm Ice.
And for today, we will learn about the 10 reasons to learn Filipino.
Filipino!
Ano ba yun? Ako muna, ikaw. Ikaw muna.
So why should you learn Filipino?
Why?
Because...
Number 1 reason is because ito ay isang magandang wika. It's a beautiful language. Ito ay isang magandang wika. Or, in English, it's a beautiful language. Is it?
Is it?
Formal Filipino is very beautiful language. It's a very romantic language. Right? If you read, say, novels written in Filipino.
Like the old ones?
Yes.
Like Florante at Laura?
Yeah, Florante at Laura, which is, what's Florante? It's like our own version of Romeo and Juliet, right?
Yeah. But like with monsters?
Yeah, it's a bit fantasy.
Yeah,
It's like
maybe it's our
fantastic.
own version
Yeah.
of Game of Thrones.
Yeah, it's our Game of Thrones. Laro ng trono. Next reason is,
Para makipag-usap sa mga kaibigang Pilipino. To chat with Filipino friends. Para makipag-usap sa mga kaibigang Filipino. Which is, to chat with Filipino friends. If you want to really be close to your Filipino friends, it's really better if you know how to speak the language. And yeah, we all could understand English, but
yeah,
it's more fun in Filipino.
there are jokes that you can only say in Filipino, that they're only funny in Filipino, right?
For example, si Dan ay nag-aaral ng Filipino para makipag-usap sa mga kaibigang Pilipino. Dan is studying Filipino to chat with Filipino friends.
Good for you, Dan.
Mahusay, Dan.
Good, Dan. Next reason is, para makapagsalin. To do translations. Para makapagsalin. Or, to do translations. Nagsisikap ako mag-aral ng Filipino para makapagsalin. I am doing my best to study Filipino to be able to do translations. Do you need to do translations in Filipino?
I guess it's still better to translate if like there are some things that not all Filipinos would know if it's in English, so
yeah,
I think there is still some jobs that involve like translating to Filipino. Or actually maybe it's the other way around, like you translate the Filipino works into English.
Yeah,
which is, I guess, oh, you're doing that. Para makanood ng pelikula na walang subtitle. To watch movies without subtitles. para makanood ng pelikula na walang subtitle. To watch movies without subtitles. Yeah, like, there are a lot of Filipino films, and like, I guess they would not be like in pure Filipino, but like, you know, Tagalog English. Because that's usually how people talk in real life.
Yeah.
It's a great reason to learn.
Especially, I think, now that our indie movie industry is booming.
Exactly.
So there's those kinds of movies that deal with concepts that are kind of hard to translate in English. So it's best if you like have those subtitles so you can be guided, right?
It's best if you don't need the subtitles.
Yeah, actually. So you already understand everything.
Yeah. For example, 3 taong tuloy-tuloy nag-aral ng Filipino si Mary bago siya nakanood ng pelikulang walang subtitle. Mary studied Filipino for 3 straight years before she was able to watch movies without subtitles. Wow, 3 years? Do you think they could do 3 years? It's easier to understand movies because you see the reaction, like, you know, non-verbal communication is still very important.
So you put it into context, right?
Yeah.
The words being said. So actually, that's easier if you watch it in movies than just like reading books. Next reason is para manirahan sa Pilipinas. To live in the Philippines. Para manirahan sa Pilipinas. To live in the Philippines.
Because
it's more fun in the Philippines. It's also more traffic. It's also hotter.
Depends on where you're coming from.
So, for example, si Yutaro, that's in Filipino, right? Yutaro. You don't say Yutaro. Si Yutaro ay maninirahan sa Pilipinas kaya siya nag-aaral ng Filipino. Yutaro will live in the Philippines. That's why he's studying Filipino. Para maintindihan ang lyrics. To understand song lyrics. Para maintindihan ang lyrics. To understand song lyrics. For example, hindi ko inakalang malalim pala ang ibig sabihin ng kantang ito hanggang sa naintindihan ko ang lyrics. I didn't know that the meaning of this song was deep until I understood the song lyrics. This very, very interesting reason. What we call like OPM, or original Filipino music, is a very big industry. And we like singing a lot. So we always have lots of deep, romantic songs, right? Really deep love songs that you would only appreciate it if you know the lyrics.
Just not just love songs, but
yeah, fun.
Well,
Even like
maybe
Jingle.
90%.
Yeah, or maybe 90% is romantic songs. I don't know why. People are just like they were hurt. Those people. Who hurt them?
I don't know.
Okay, next.
Para makagawa ng bagong mga kaibigan. To make new friends. Para makagawa ng bagong mga kaibigan. To make new friends. It will make them comfortable if they are speaking in their own language, and like that's the time that you could know more about a person if they're in their most comfortable state, I guess. So yeah,
and they can only share like things about their lives, right, if they're speaking in their own language. Because sometimes, for instance, you don't really speak English a lot, and then you have to tell someone about your life. Then you'd be like, no, English is very hard. I'm just not going to say anything to you anymore, right?
And a lot of the words doesn't really translate to English, so it's not as fun telling it if you have to like explain what this word means. Especially like names you call your family, like ate, kuya,
ate, or big sister, right?
Because like you would never call your big sister like, oh, my big sister.
Yeah. Even for me, when I tell my foreign friends about my mom, I don't like. It's kind of weird because I just call her mama. She's not a mom, she's a mama. So it's like weird.
Mama's son. For example, palakaibigan ang mga Pilipino, kaya gusto kong matuto ng Filipino para makagawa ng bagong mga kaibigan. Filipinos are friendly, so I want to learn Filipino to make new friends. There are 2 kinds of Filipinos. One is the person and one is the language. And if you translate if you translate both to Filipino, they actually become 2. Filipino is the person and Filipino with
is
F
the language.
Is the language.
Yeah.
So you have to be careful with that because they're both Filipinos in English, but they become Filipino, and Filipino in
Yeah.
Filipino.
In the same way that Philippines, it's not with an F, right? It's a PH. But
Oh,
if
yeah.
you make it into Filipino, you would say Pilipinas, which is with a P. That's why people living in the Philippines are called Filipino at Pilipina, right?
Yes. Yeah, that's a good point. Do not spell Filipino with a PH.
Yes.
It's F.
Yeah.
Para makapagnegosyo sa mga kumpanya sa Pilipinas. To do business with Filipino companies. Para makapagnegosyo sa mga kumpanya sa Pilipinas. To do business with Filipino companies. Balak palawakin ng boss ang kumpanya sa Pilipinas, kaya mag-aaral ako ng Filipino para makapagnegosyo. My boss plans to expand the company in the Philippines. That's why I will study Filipino in order to do business. I guess this is one major reason for people to learn languages is for business. It's the same thing like we've been saying. If you don't get the inside jokes, then you also don't get the inside deals.
Like making friends is one thing. Doing business is another. Because doing business actually involves money. So for you not to lose any money in this business, then
you better do your research.
Yeah. And study your language. Para makapasok sa graduate school sa Pilipinas. To go to a graduate school in the Philippines. Para makapasok sa graduate school sa Pilipinas. To go to a graduate school in the Philippines. Para makapasok sa Universidad ng Pilipinas, nagsisikap si Jane mag-aral ng Filipino. In order to enter the University of the Philippines, Jane is studying Filipino very hard. Yeah, this is very important, but I think it's more important in socializing, right? And in feeling embedded in where you are. But it's not really important, I think, in attending classes in the university, because in where we went to, in the University of the Philippines, the classes are in language. The classes, obviously, they're in language. The classes are in English, right?
Yeah.
And so you can go to, well, of course, your classmates and your teachers will speak Filipino, but everything is in English. Your textbook, your reading materials.
I guess there are some subjects which are in Filipino.
Yeah, in Filipino, of course, like Humanidades.
Yeah. But like sometimes your teacher would still accommodate you and speak English most of the time if need be. But yeah, it's still important to learn Filipino if you want to like not be an outcast.
Yeah, so if you want, because that's very important in university life, right? For you to enjoy university life. So now that I'm in University of Tokyo, I'm so happy because I don't speak Japanese so much and I don't have friends. Okay, next.
Okay, next. Para magkaroon ng Pilipinong kasintahan, to have a Filipino lover, you definitely want to learn Filipino if you want to have a Filipino lover, or in Filipino, para magkaroon ng Pilipinong kasintahan. For example, nagsisikap si Rudy mag-aral ng Filipino para magkaroon siya ng Pilipinong kasintahan.
Go, Rudy.
Go. I support you. Rudy is trying hard to learn Filipino so that he could have a Filipino lover. Yeah, I guess...
Go, Rudy. Go, Rudy. Go, Rudy.
Oh my God.
It's going to help you actually because they would think you're cute, right?
Yeah.
That they would think you're trying. It's not so much that you really need to be fluent in the Filipino, but the idea is that you are trying, and that speaks a lot about you.
Yeah, definitely.
And the most important thing is when you start fighting, they will definitely turn back to their language, right? Because they're really mad. So if you're really mad, then you will start speaking your own language. So for you to understand what they're babbling about, better learn the language. That's enough reason.
Yeah. Okay, that's it. Thank you for tuning with us today. Thank you for watching this lesson in Filipino. Oh my God.
Filipino top words. What is your reason for studying Filipino?
Yeah, please tell us in the comments. And if there are things here that you want to be clarified, I don't know.
Yeah, don't hesitate to put them down below. And like and subscribe to our channel.
If you need tips to have a Filipino lover,
write them down.
Right? Yeah.
Ice will help you.
No. And if
visit FilipinoPod101.com for more Filipino lessons.
Yeah.
Thank
For
you.
more Erica, more
Ice.
Ice.
Hanggang sa muli.
Hanggang sa muli.
Paalam.
Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at filipinopod101.com.
Hello sa inyong lahat. Ako si Erica. Sa leksyon na ito, pag-uusapan naman natin kung paano ipinagdiriwang ang Chinese New Year sa Pilipinas. Ang pagdiriwang na ito ay sumusunod sa lunar calendar at pinangungunahan ng mga Chinese at ng mga Filipino-Chinese na naninirahan sa bansa. Ipinagdiriwang ito dahil sa mga katangi-tanging selebrasyon, pagkain at paniniwala na nakapaloob sa tradisyong ito. Sa lesson na ito, malalaman naman natin kung paano ipinagdiriwang ang Chinese New Year sa Pilipinas. Anong pagbati ang sinasabi ng mga tao tuwing sasapit ang Chinese New Year? Sasabihin namin ang sagot sa katapusan ng video na ito. Isa sa paborito ng mga Pilipino, kahit na mga hindi dumadalo sa mga pagdiriwang ng Chinese New Year, ay ang mga pagkain na malimit ihanda sa panahong ito. Ang pinakakilala ay ang tikoy. Isa itong uri ng pagkain na gawa sa malagkit na kanin. Kamakailan lamang, iba't ibang kakaibang uri o flavor na ang nilalabas na akma sa panglasang Pilipino at Chinese tulad ng pandan at ube. Sinisimbolo ng tikoy ang pananatiling magkasama ng bawat miyembro ng pamilya. Dahil sa malagkitang tikoy, sinasabing ang pagkakaroon nito tuwing Chinese New Year ay magpapalagkit sa pagsasama ng mag-anak. Dahil sa dami ng mga Chinese na naninirahan sa bansa, ginawang opisyal na holiday ang Chinese New Year noong taong 2011. Kung babalikan ang kasaysayan, ang mga Pilipino ay nakikipagpalitan na ng mga produkto sa mga Chinese bago pa dumating ang mga Kastila. Dahil sa dami ng mga Chinese, inilagak sila ng mga Kastila sa Binondo, isang lugar sa Maynila. Napakasigla ng komersyo sa Binondo, kung saan napakarami ng mga negosyo ng mga Chinese at Filipino-Chinese. At ito rin ang sentro ng kasiyahan kung Chinese New Year. Pula ang itinuturing na pinakamaswerteng kulay at maraming tao ang nagbibihis ng pula sa araw na ito. Nagbibigay naman ng mga mas nakakatanda sa mga bata ng pera na nasa loob ng mga pulang sobre na tinatawag na angpaw. Hindi rin mawawala ang dragon dance, lion dance at ang magarang mga paputok. Ang mga lion at dragon dance ay sinasabing nakapagbibigay ng swerte at katatagan ng negosyo o ng pamilya. Itinuturing rin na ang mga mas mahabang dragon ay nangangahulugan ng mas maraming swerte. Alam nyo ba na ang Binondo ang pinakamatandang Chinatown sa buong mundo? Itinatag ito noong taong 1594. Ang ibig sabihin ng Binondo ay binondok o binundok na ibig sabihin ay mabundok at tumutukoy sa maburol na lugar ng Binondo. At ngayon, ibibigay ko na ang sagot sa tanong kanina. Anong pagbati ang sinasabi ng mga tao tuwing sasapit ang Chinese New Year? Sa Hokkien na sinasalita ng mas maraming mga Chinese at mga Filipino-Chinese sa Pilipinas, ang pagbati ay Kyung Hee Huat Sai. Pero karamihan sa mga Pilipino ang gumagamit ng Cantonese na pagbati na Kung Hei Fat Choi. Kamusta ang lesson na ito? May interesanteng bagay ba kayong natutunan? Ipinagdiriwang nyo rin ba ang Chinese New Year? Paano nyo ito ginagawa? Mag-iwan kayo ng komento sa filipinopod101.com. Hanggang sa susunod na lesson! Hi! I'm Erica, and welcome to Filipino Top Words. Today we are going to learn 10 phrases to amaze native speakers. Salamat pero sa totoo lang, hindi ako isang native speaker. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. Salamat pero sa totoo lang, hindi ako isang native speaker. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. If you start learning now, you'll be one of those few foreigners who can amaze Filipinos. Isang taon lang ang kinailangan ko para maging mahusay sa pagsasalita. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. Isang taon lang ang kinailangan ko para maging mahusay sa pagsasalita. It took me only 1 year to become fluent. So I don't know how easy actually Filipino is for foreign people. I don't know if in 1 year you'll be able to speak it. Probably like the basics of it, right? Because Filipino, you don't really need to learn new alphabet. And also, some of the words are in Spanish. So if you kind of know Spanish, then you would most probably understand some of the words. But for you to be able to speak 1 year, I think is fine. But for you to be able to actually understand all the nuances in the language, then 1 year is probably a bit too short. Makakapagsalita ako ng Filipino gaya ng isang Pilipino sa loob ng 3 taon. I'll speak Filipino like a native speaker in 3 years. Makakapagsalita ako ng Filipino gaya ng isang Pilipino sa loob ng 3 taon. I'll speak Filipino like a native speaker in 3 years. That's actually a good target, right? But of course, there's still so many things that you won't be, probably like inside jokes, right? Like, or especially since Filipino language is, like any other language, is continuously evolving, right? Because we have lots of slang now, right? Like slang that you get from American slang, and then also gay lingo, right? So all of those words, and then usually when you learn Filipino, you won't get to hear those slang or like street words. And most people actually use a bit of like casual, even in, they only use really formal Filipino in, say, formal situations, formal settings. So this is a good target, but good luck. 10 taon na akong nag-aaral ng Filipino. I've been learning Filipino for 10 years. 10 taon na akong nag-aaral ng Filipino. I've been learning Filipino for 10 years. That's actually very good. I mean, for me, for us, like English, we take so many years and still there's some things that you cannot understand. So for instance, we learn English, like standard English, right? And then you talk to, say, an American or to a British person. And then there are so many words that you cannot understand. But you cannot understand them because these are like, but it's like the usage of the words is different from how you learned it from the dictionary. Sometimes when you speak to them, you sound so formal. 10 years is very good. Kaya kong manood ng mga pelikulang Filipino nang walang subtitle. I can watch Filipino movies without subtitles. Kaya kong manood ng mga pelikulang Filipino nang walang subtitle. I can watch Filipino movies without subtitles. We are releasing so many indie movies recently. Those are really good movies, so please watch Filipino movies. And if you can see them without subtitles, very good. Kaya kong magkabisa ng higit kumulang mga 50 bagong salitang Filipino kada araw. I can memorize around 50 new Filipino words a day. Kaya kong magkabisa ng higit kumulang mga 50 bagong salitang Filipino kada araw. I can memorize around 50 new Filipino words a day. Oh, that's very impressive. I don't have memory. Masaya at madaling aralin ang Filipino. Filipino is fun and easy to learn. Masaya at madaling aralin ang Filipino. Filipino is fun and easy to learn. Yeah, which actually it is, right? It's very, I think it's easier compared to, say, Japanese or Chinese. Because as I've said, first, Filipino, you don't need to learn new alphabet, which immediately makes it easy, right? Because learning a new alphabet is very hard, right? I mean, if you say, for example, walk in the streets and then you can read the signs, that's already something. Because say you go to Japan, then you see all the signs and you cannot read kanji or hiragana or katakana, right? Then you cannot, it's like as if you're, I don't know, you're lost. But at least with Filipino, then you can immediately read the signs. And then the next thing is you learn the words. Naintindihan ko ang lahat ng sinabi mo. I completely understood everything you said. Naintindihan ko ang lahat ng sinabi mo. I completely understood everything you said. Yeah, so when someone tells you this, then they're amazed. Yeah, so that's why they're just like, oh, great. So for example, someone tells you this very long explanation about something. Then as a Filipino, you can simply say, gets ko. Because that's very Filipino actually, which means I got it. Marami akong alam na slang sa Filipino. I know a lot of slang words in Filipino. Marami akong alam na slang sa Filipino. I know a lot of slang words in Filipino. It depends also when you use the slang words because not in all circumstances can you use slang words, right? Especially if you're just meeting someone for the first time, then you would want to be a bit more formal. Then becoming too formal is not natural. It can be seen as sarcastic even. Actually, I think the key to being thought of as fluent is like getting this balance of being like casual, natural, and also a bit like more formal, right? I think so. Nakakabasa na ako ng nobela sa Filipino. I can now read a novel in Filipino. Nakakabasa na ako ng nobela sa Filipino. I can now read a novel in Filipino, which is very good. If you read actual like old Filipino novels, it's very, what do you call this, like flowery. It's like it really evokes emotions when you read Filipino novels. It's actually hard to write in really, say, old poetic Filipino now. So that's it for today's Filipino top words. What sentence would you say to amaze us? But actually, we're easily amazed, so don't hesitate to write anything down below or comment, because you might comment negative things, right? Okay. If you like this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. And if you want to see other videos like this, then head on to filipinopod101.com. See you in the next lesson.
Naintindihan ko ang lahat ng sinabi mo.
Marami akong alam. Inay, ito na po ang inyong pansit. Na binili ko sa kanto. Inay, wag mo akong iwan, inay.
You are at a bus terminal where you're heading to a special hotel to check in for the first time. According to an email you received, what are the things that you need to provide to the staff at this special hotel? What are the things that you need to provide to the staff at this special hotel? The email says that you need to provide your confirmation number and your passport details.
Numero ng kumpirmasyon, mga detalye ng pasaporte.
Hello guys, and welcome to Filipino Top Words. I'm Erica, and for today we will learn about the 10 compliments you always want to hear. Ang guwapo mo. You're handsome. Two possible circumstances. First, if the person is really, really handsome. Second, if you want something from that person. So for example, you want something done for you. You go to this person and say, "Oh, ang guwapo mo. Pwede bang pakitulungan ako?" In English, "You're handsome. Can you help me with this?" Ang galing mo, or "You're good." But this is very nice to hear, right? If your boss tells you, "Oh, you're good at what you do. Keep doing it." Then you say, "Oh, thank you. Can you raise my salary?" Right? So it's not about you being kind, but it's more about you were able to do something. Like you excelled at something. So in sports, for instance, or as I've said, in your job, you were able to do something very nice, then this is a proper compliment. So also if your friend helped you, and this friend actually did a very good job, for instance, then you would also say, "Ang galing mo," or "You're good." Mahusay kang kaibigan. You are an awesome friend. I don't really say this to my friends. I mean, we have more of like a love-hate kind of relationship. So, I mean, it's good if you actually say this more to people that you are not so close to. Yeah, because once you get close to a person, then you can actually insult this person.
Yeah.
And that's more like the kind of friendship that you will get, like more of like love-hate kind of, right? But then, of course, you want to compliment, because compliments actually make you feel nice. And when you feel nice, you do things much nicer. So, this is something that you can tell your friend. You are an awesome friend. Mahusay kang kaibigan. Mas maganda palalo ang iyong kalooban kaysa sa iyong panlabas na anyo. Your inside is even more beautiful than your outside. I think if I'm your friend, I won't even like this because I want my outside to be more beautiful than my inside. Because I'm vain like that. I don't care about what you think of me inside. As long as you think I'm beautiful. I think more people are going to like that one than this. I mean, if you tell this to someone, what would that person say? And this person would probably say, what do you think of me? I'm not beautiful on the outside. Right? It's not so nice, but you can try. Let's see how far you will go. But it's actually nice to compliment people's inside. Kahanga-hanga ang iyong resume. Your resume is impressive. And this is very helpful when you are you're being interviewed. And if you hear this phrase, then that means you have a good chance of getting the job. Because that means your resume is actually very impressive for them. But sometimes, you know how HR people are, right? They just tell you, oh, your resume is very impressive, but I'm sorry, we found someone with a more impressive resume than you. So if someone tells you, oh, your resume is very impressive, then it also tells you that, okay, you're on the right track of whatever you want to be, right? So I think that's very helpful. Magaling or great job. Saya no, great job. So this is a common phrase, common compliment that you will hear. So you can use it in many different circumstances, like you accomplished something. So if you also troubleshoot something, you're able to do it, then your boss will say, oh, that's good job or great job, better job, best job.
Greatest job.
Bestest job. Bagay sa'yo ang jacket na yan. That jacket looks nice on you. After you compliment them on the inside, you also compliment them on the outside, right? But your compliment only goes to the jacket, not per person. You can change jacket into whatever things. Bagay is, it fits you, right? So when you say bagay, other than it meaning a thing, right? Bagay also means it suits you. So you can say, that dress suits you. So bagay sa'yo ang bestida na yan. Or that hat suits you for whatever reason you're wearing a hat, right? So, or those glasses suit you. So that's actually a very useful compliment to learn. Maganda ang taste mo. You have good taste. So this is a very nice compliment if someone tells you, oh, you have very good taste in, say, furniture, right?
Furniture.
Or in clothes, or on, house decor, right? That's a very nice, because that means, we use the same word actually, taste. But usually we just say, maganda ang taste mo. Or okay ang taste mo, right? Okay ang taste mo. Which all means you have good taste. Maganda ang iyong ngiti. Your smile is beautiful. I think you only say this to your prospective partners. You don't say this to your friends, right? Because if you say this to your friends, they'll be like, what is wrong with you? Right? So, maganda means beautiful. So, you can replace ngiti with many other things. So, you can say, bag. Maganda ang iyong bag. Or, your bag is beautiful. Or, maganda ang iyong buhok. Or, your hair is nice. Right? Maganda ang iyong damit. Or, your clothes are nice. So, you can change ngiti to something more appropriate for the occasion. But if you're courting someone, maganda ang iyong ngiti can actually help. But then, whoever you're courting is going to be like, what? I think it would be much better if you say, maganda ang ngipin mo. You have good teeth. Ang ganda mo. You look gorgeous. Or you look beautiful. Or you look pretty, depending on the level of Bertinas, right? Ang ganda mo, which means you look gorgeous or you look beautiful. Or you can also say, ang cute mo, right? Which means you look cute. And we say this like for small people. Ah, you're so cute, right? I have two close friends who are very, very petite. And they're really, really cute. They're like my kids. They're so cute. So, if you want to say that she or he is very, very beautiful, then you can just repeat words. So, ang ganda-ganda mo, ang galing-galing mo, right? And then you can change your tone to make it sarcastic. So if you think that this person is actually not really good at this job, but you want to be sarcastic, you can say, ang galing-galing mo. And we like being sarcastic in Filipino, so you will hear that a lot. And that's it for today's lesson, and hope you learned something new. If you have heard any of these, comment them down below, and what do you think is the most useful among these things? Don't forget to like and subscribe to our channel, and if you want to learn more Filipino, visit filipinopod101.com. Hanggang sa muli,
You've decided to study a new language, so now what? Well, you want to become fluent fast, right? Here are the top 5 shortcuts to learning a language. Number 1, create a study schedule and set some goals. Many language learners are unorganized. Creating a schedule allows you to free up time to study consistently. Goals give you motivation and something to strive for. Number 2, make it fun. If you learn how to make your study time enjoyable, chances are you'll be more inclined to study. Watch a TV show with subtitles or listen to some music. Number 3, find a language partner. This is the best way to improve your conversation skills. It will help you gain fluency even faster and increase confidence when speaking. Number 4, use word lists to build up a solid vocabulary. This is a great way to build up your fluency, one word at a time. Luckily, we have all the word lists you need, with a range of topics, from food to love. Choose whichever language you want to study and go. Number 5, don't be afraid to make mistakes. Nothing helps you improve more than correcting your own errors. You're more likely to remember it correctly the next time around. Everyone makes mistakes. Don't be afraid to learn from them. There's no magical way to learn a new language overnight, but doing all of these can really help your learning process. And remember, if you're interested in getting on the fast track to fluency, sign up for your free lifetime account. No credit card required, and you'll get the best free online resources. Start learning now.
Hi everyone, my name is Erica, and welcome to Filipino Top Words. Our lesson for today is 15 must-know family words. Ta-da! Pamilya. Pamilya. Family. Our first word is pamilya or family. Anim kami sa pamilya. Anim kami sa pamilya. There are 6 people in my family. So in the Philippines, as usual, it's like when you ask people how many they are in their family, some would ask, oh, do we include all the extended members, the members of the extended family, or just the nuclear? Because there are cases when people live with with the members of the extended family, right? That makes for a really big family. Tatay, tatay, father, tatay, or father. Hindi nagagalit ang tatay ko. Hindi nagagalit ang tatay ko. In English, my father never gets angry. So my dad, he also doesn't get angry much. It's kind of weird because he's always like this mid-state between angry and not angry. But I remember when we were young, my sister doesn't really want to study well. She doesn't like take notes in school. And she's always in the toilet when there's like an important announcement by the teacher. I don't know why, how she can time that. So usually when she comes out of school, she doesn't know what happened in class, and she doesn't know the assignment, she doesn't know anything. There was one time that he got really mad, so he made giliw, that's my sister's name, giliw, which means dear in Filipino. It's like a very cute name. He was so mad, he made her kneel on, what do you call this?
Mongo.
Mongo beans, mongo seeds, right? Hello, Gilio. Asawa. Asawa. Husband or spouse. Asawa or husband. Ang aking asawa ay binalak magpari, ngunit buti na lang, hindi natuloy. Ang aking asawa ay binalak magpari, ngunit buti na lang, hindi natuloy. My husband planned on becoming a priest, but I'm thankful he didn't go through with it. Who thought of this? So in Filipino, actually, when you say asawa, it can mean both husband and wife. So actually, the best translation for asawa is spouse, right? So when you want to specify that the asawa that you're referring to is male or the husband, you would say asawang lalaki, right? He could have been a priest saving the world, but yeah, thankfully, he didn't go through with it according to the sentence. Or probably he's now regretting his decision. We don't know. Anak na lalaki. Anak na lalaki. Son. Anak na lalaki. Or son. Si Ted at Tina ay may 4 na anak na lalaki. Si Ted at Tina ay may 4 na anak na lalaki. Ted and Tina have 4 sons. When you want to say son, you would add lalaki, which is male. So, anak na lalaki. Or, if you want to say daughter, then you would say anak na babae. Babae for female. Usually, you just say, oh, my kid. Right? My kid, actually. Ang anak ko, hindi na naman pumasok sa eskwelahan. My kid didn't go again to school. That was my mom's line every time when we talked about Gilio. Because Gilio really doesn't like taking down notes. Kapatid na lalaki. Kapatid na lalaki. Brother. Kapatid na lalaki. Or, in English, brother. Ang kapatid niyang lalaki ay napakatalino. Ang kapatid niyang lalaki ay napakatalino. His brother is extremely smart. Here, kapatid again is a gender-neutral word, which means sibling. So, if you want to say brother, you would add lalaki to kapatid. So, it would be kapatid na lalaki. Or if you want to say sister, then it would be kapatid na babae. Babae meaning female. In the family, there's always ways of calling brothers, sisters, right? So, for an older brother, you would say kuya. For elder sister, you would say ate. Tío, tío, uncle, tío, or uncle. Ang tío ko ay masipag. Ang tío ko ay masipag. My uncle is hardworking. So usually, younger people would call uncles as tito. So they would just call them tito. You can also say tito to anyone like a bit at the same age as your tito. For instance, like you meet someone and then you start talking to this someone, but they're kind of like more of a like mom-dad image. So you would call the dad image as like tito, right? Something like that. Lolo. Lolo. Grandfather. Lolo or grandfather. Magaling mag-Ingles ang aking lolo. Magaling mag-Ingles ang aking lolo. My grandfather has excellent English. Biyenang lalaki. Biyenang lalaki. Father-in-law. Biyenang lalaki. Or father-in-law. Ang aking biyenang lalaki ay nakakatakot. Ang aking biyenang lalaki ay nakakatakot. My father-in-law is scary. Nanay. Nanay. Mother. Nanay. Or mother. Walang katulad ang aking nanay. Walang katulad ang aking nanay. There is no one like my mother. Because my mom is weird. She's very funny. I don't know. I think she was normal. Now she's a mom. When I'm away, I talk to her on Facebook video, right? Video call. And then so I talk to her. And the first thing that she noticed after so many things that I discussed with her, like, oh, this, like, how graduate school is, blah, blah. And then her immediate reaction is, oh, did you change your sheets? Kapatid na babae. Kapatid na babae. Sister. Kapatid na babae. Or sister. May isa akong nakababatang kapatid na babae. May isa akong nakababatang kapatid na babae. I have one younger sister. So this is the same thing that we discussed earlier with the word kapatid. So it's a gender-neutral noun. And you can add lalaki or babae for male, female respectively to make it into a gendered noun. So for kapatid na babae, to mean sister, you added babae, which is female. Asawa. Asawa. Wife or spouse. Asawa or wife or spouse. Ang aking asawa ay dating sumali sa Miss Universe. Ang aking asawa ay dating sumali sa Miss Universe. My wife was in the Miss Universe pageant. Wow, lucky you. And this is again what we were discussing earlier about the word asawa, which literally means spouse. So if you want to put a gender on asawa, you would say asawang babae for wife or asawang lalaki for husband. So because of the context, then you can tell that the speaker is referring to a female spouse, right? Biyenang babae. Biyenang babae. Mother-in-law. Biyenang babae. Or mother-in-law. Ang aking biyenang babae ay napakabait. Ang aking biyenang babae ay napakabait. My mother-in-law is very kind. Oh, very lucky. You have a very scary father-in-law and a very kind mother-in-law. And we forgot to say something about biyenan, because biyenan again is a gender-neutral word. So biyenan just means in-laws, right? When you want to emphasize that you're referring to the mother-in-law, then you would add again the word for female, which is babae. So you would say biyenang babae. And then for males, you would say biyenang lalaki. Lola. Lola. Grandmother. Lola. Or grandmother. Hindi na ako namumukhaan ng aking lola. Hindi na ako namumukhaan ng aking lola. My grandmother can no longer recognize me. Oh, this is pretty sad. Katuwang. Katuwang. Partner. Katuwang or partner. Ang katuwang sa buhay ang iyong kasama sa hirap at ginhawa. Ang katuwang sa buhay ang iyong kasama sa hirap at ginhawa. Your partner in life is your companion through thick and thin. When you're thin and then when you become thick, that's what it means. Tia. Tia. Aunt. Tia or aunt. Mapagbigay ang aking tiya. Mapagbigay ang aking tiya. My aunt is generous or tita, right? Now, being a tita is kind of like a frame of mind, right? You're lazy, you just want nice things, you just want to drink tea, you just want to relax, be experience the not be not be sweaty. If you're a tita, you're in everyone's business. Aside from all those things that I said. So imagine, you always would have titas that ask you, why aren't you still married, right? There are always those titas. They just have so much time, right? Okay, guys, that's it for this lesson. Hope you learned something new. Don't become a tita yet. Who is your favorite member of your family? How many are you and your family? And don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and visit FilipinoPod101.com to learn more Filipino. Hanggang sa muli!
Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at FilipinoPod101.com.
Hello sa inyong lahat, ako si Erica. Gaya ng ginagawa ng ibang mga bansa, ipinagdiriwang din ang Araw ng Mga Puso tuwing ika-14 ng Pebrero sa Pilipinas. Pinaghahandaan ng maraming Pilipino, lalo na ng mga magkasintahan, ang araw na ito para ipaalala at ipakita ang kanilang pagpapahalaga sa kanilang mga minamahal sa buhay. Sa lesson na ito, aalamin natin ang mga romantikong kasanayan ng mga Pilipino tuwing Araw ng Mga Puso.
Nagiging popular ang mga mass wedding tuwing araw ng mga puso sa Pilipinas. Noong taong 2012, alam niyo ba kung ilang pares ang nagpakasal at nag-renew ng kanilang mga wedding vow? Sasabihin namin ang sagot sa katapusan ng video na ito. Para sa mga magkasintahan at mag-asawa, hindi mawawala ang palitan ng tsokolate at rosas. Sa araw na ito, kahit saan ka mapalingon, may siguradong nagbebenta ng mga stuffed toys, rosas at mga tsokolate. At syempre, napakaraming mga magkasintahan ang nagde-date. At kung hindi nyo pa alam, maraming Pilipino ang tunay na romantiko. Kaya naman mula sa mga mall, mga restaurant, mga hotel, hanggang sa mga amusement park, napakaraming mga romantikong pakulo ang mayroon. Marami pa rin ang gumagamit sa araw na ito para magtapat at manligaw. Siyempre, kung panliligaw na ang usapan, hindi mawawala ang harana sa eksena. Isa itong tradisyon ng panliligaw. Mas ginagawa man ito noon kaysa ngayon, marami pa rin ang nakakaalam nito. Kung dati ang mga kantang pangharana ay mga kundiman, ngayon, kahit anong romantikong kanta ay maaring kantahin. Mapa-OPM man o banyaga, basta kaya nitong ipahayag ang iyong nararamdaman, at kung may lakas ka ng loob, wala ka mang boses, maaari mong haranahin ang taong gusto mo. At malay mo, magustuhan ka rin niya. Siyempre, hindi namimili ang araw ng mga puso sa Pilipinas. Ikaw man ay walang kasintahan, torpe, pakipot, o kaya naman ay pinili mo talaga na maging single, huwag kang mag-alala. Mayroon ring mga singles-only na party sa syudad. Malay mo, baka roon mo pa makilala ang nakatadhana para sa iyo. Ang mga guro ang karaniwang may pinakamaraming natatanggap na Valentine's card tuwing araw ng mga puso. Kaya kung single ka at plano mong maging single habang buhay, ngunit ayaw mong maging tahimik ang iyong Valentine's, alam mo na ang swak na trabaho para sa iyo. At ngayon, ibibigay ko na ang sagot sa tanong kanina. Nagiging popular ang mga mass wedding tuwing araw ng mga puso sa Pilipinas. Noong taong 2012, alam niyo ba kung ilang pares ang nagpakasal at nag-renew ng kanilang mga wedding vow? Noong taong 2012, higit sa 2,000 magkasintahan ang nagpakasal o nag-renew ng kanilang mga wedding vow sa mga mass wedding na isinagawa ng mga lokal na pamahalaan. Hindi mahalaga kung magarbo man o hindi, ang mahalaga ay ang sumpaan na sila'y magsasama habang buhay at patuloy na mamahalin ng isa't isa. Kamusta ang lesson na ito? May interesanteng bagay ba kayong natutunan? Anong ginagawa nyo tuwing araw ng mga puso? Mag-iwan kayo ng komento sa filipinopod101.com. Hanggang sa susunod na lesson.
Hi, my name is Erica. And welcome. Hi, my name is Erica. And welcome to Filipino Top Words. Our lesson for today is 10 must-know math words. Yay! Math! Matematika. Ma-te-ma-tika. Mathematics or math. Math in Filipino is matematika. How do we use math in a sentence? We can say, matematika ang paborito kong subject. Mathematics is my favorite subject. Matematika ang paborito kong subject. Is math your favorite subject? Well, it's not my favorite, but I don't also hate it. No, I like math. I think numero. Numero. Number. Numero. In English, number. Let's use numero in a sentence. Maraming tao ang ayaw sa numero. Maraming tao ang ayaw sa numero. A lot of people do not like numbers. A significant number of people do not like numbers. According to studies. But you cannot escape it because numbers are everywhere. If you are on a budget, numbers. If you're thinking of when you're going to get married, numbers. If you're planning a wedding, numbers. If you're looking for a job, numbers. Kalahati. Kalahati. Half. The next word is kalahati. In English, half. Kalahati ka ng edad ko. You are half my age. Kalahati ka ng edad ko. Well, I cannot yet tell this to anyone, except really small kids. Porsyento. Porsyento. Percent. Our next word is porsyento. In English, percent. Ilang porsyento ang income tax sa Pilipinas? Ilang porsyento ang income tax sa Pilipinas? How much is the income tax percentage in the Philippines? Even. 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 The next word is even. In English, even. Madaling hatiin sa dalawa ang mga even number. Madaling hatiin sa dalawa ang mga even number. It is easy to divide even numbers. 2, 4, 6, 8, 10, 12. Anything ending in even numbers can be divided into 2. Odd. 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 The next word is odd. In English, odd. Kapag magbibigay ka raw ng pera sa kasal, dapat odd ang unang numero para hindi ito mahati. Kapag magbibigay ka raw ng pera sa kasal, dapat odd ang unang numero para hindi ito mahahati. They say that if you were to give money at a wedding, it should be an odd number so that it can't be divided. So it means that you should give odd numbered amount of money so that symbolically, right? So symbolically it means that the couple won't be separated, right? Magkalkula. Magkalkula. To calculate. Magkalkula. In English, to calculate. Kaya mo bang magkalkula ng mabilis? Kaya mo bang magkalkula ng mabilis? Can you calculate quickly? Can you? No, she cannot. Sorry. Dagdagan. Dagdagan. To add. Next word is dagdagan or to add. Pakidagdagan ng 5 pang order ng kanin. Pakidagdagan ng 5 pang order ng kanin. Please add 5 more orders of rice. Wow, rice is life. Okay, I don't judge this person. But still, like 5 orders of rice. Please eat whatever you want. Bawasan. Bawasan. To subtract. Bawasan. Or to subtract. Huwag mong bawasan ng tax ang mga nagpa-part-time job lamang. Huwag mong bawasan ng tax ang mga nagpa-part-time job lamang. Don't subtract the tax for those who are just working part-time. Hatiin. Hatiin. To divide. Hatiin. Or to divide. Hatiin natin ito sa 8. Hatiin natin ito sa 8. Let's divide this into 8. What else do you divide by 8? Just pizza and cake. Or you probably get like 8 cups of rice. Divide this into 2. So that is the end of the lesson and hope you learned something new. Do you like math? Why or why not? So if you have any answer to that question, don't forget to put them in the comment section. Don't forget to like, subscribe to the channel, and visit FilipinoPod101.com to learn more Filipino. Hanggang sa muli! So how do we... because couple that eats together stays together. Hi, Smithley!
Want to get cheat sheets, audiobooks, lessons, apps, and much more every month for free? Just click the link in the description to get your free language gifts of the month.
You are at a bus terminal where you're heading to a special hotel to check in for the first time. According to an email you received, what are the things that you need to provide to the staff at this special hotel? What are the things that you need to provide to the staff at this special hotel? The email says that you need to provide your confirmation number and your passport details.
Numero ng kumpirmasyon, mga detalye ng pasaporte.
Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now.
10 most romantic ideas for a date. Candlelit dinner. Candlelit dinner. Candlelit dinner. So our first idea is candlelit dinner. Or in English, candlelit dinner. Uso pa ba ngayon ang date na candlelit dinner? Uso pa ba ngayon ang date na candlelit dinner? Is a candlelit dinner still a popular idea for a date? I don't know. Is it?
I think so.
I don't know. We haven't done candlelit dinner. I think, personally for me, I don't like it when I eat in very, like, dimly lit.
Really?
I like eating, like, in dimly lit restaurants, but not, like, super dark, especially when it's just, like, a very small candle.
It doesn't.
No, because of my eyes, I think. Because I need more light.
But usually candlelit dinner is not just candle.
No, but there are some places like that, right? Like, for instance, you eat out in open spaces, and then they have this. Because it's really, even at home sometimes, like, Svetlin just wants to turn on, like, one of the lamps in the living room. But then to me, it's like, I cannot see my food. I want to see my food. So I turn on everything. I go,
Parang barbecue on camping.
yeah, I don't want to be, I cannot see my food. So, I don't know. But to some people, of course, this is, like, very romantic. And I think it's a very romantic thing because you are prettier, more handsome in the dark. I think that's the purpose of candlelit dinner, right? You have to agree with me. Yes. See? Maglakad ng malayo ng magkasama. Maglakad ng malayo ng magkasama. To go for a long walk. Maglakad ng malayo ng magkasama. To go for a long walk. Masayang maglakad ng malayo ng magkasama. Masayang maglakad ng malayo ng magkasama. It's fun to go on a long walk together. I think this is true because I remember when me and Svetlin are still flirting with each other. We walked for 3 hours. Or I think just because he doesn't have money. He's so poor. Hi, person. So I think but actually this is very good because walking together makes you fit and then makes you more, makes you talk more to each other, right? So then you can have, like, really good conversations while you're talking, and then you see different things, you see different people. You're just, like, very, invigorated while you're walking. But at the same time also because you don't have money, I think. Right? Yes, that means if your partner wants to walk so much, that means it's a very practical partner, right? And also a very poor partner.
Poor but healthy.
Poor and healthy, yeah. So this person will live very long. Prepare to walk for very long. Mag-bowling. Mag-bowling. To go bowling. Mag-bowling or to go bowling. Imbitahin natin ang iba pang kaibigan para mag-bowling. Imbitahin natin ang iba pang kaibigan para mag-bowling. Let's invite some friends to go bowling. Bowling is actually much more fun if you go there with friends, right? Then because you feel, like, very competitive, you just want to beat your friends, beat them to the dust, right?
You could use your bowling ball for that.
Yeah. But I'm never good at bowling. Yeah, so...
It's still fun.
Yeah, but it's really fun even if you're not good at it. It's not so expensive also, right? So it's a good idea for a date, actually, because then you both get fit, you see each other, like, having fun, and then it's not so expensive. Very good. Pumunta sa aquarium. Pumunta sa aquarium. To go to the aquarium. Pumunta sa aquarium. To go to the aquarium. Maraming taong pumupunta sa aquarium para mag-date. Maraming taong pumupunta sa aquarium para mag-date. There are a lot of people going on a date to the aquarium. Have you been for a date?
Not really a date. I'm still a friend thing.
Yeah, I don't actually, I mean, I like seeing fish. I like eating fish. But I'm not like the type of person to actively go to an aquarium for a date. I think
maybe it's also like it's kind of dark and like the water is like
I am moving. It's very romantic, and then again in the dark, you are both like more handsome and prettier, right? And then, yeah.
Or at least you feel like you're prettier than
The fish.
The fish.
Especially if it's a jellyfish. Or it's a blowfish. No, I think for many people, I think especially if you watch Japanese dramas, right? There's always like some scene in the aquarium, right? So, yeah, so probably I think it's a very, especially if it's a pretty aquarium, but if it's like a not so clean looking aquarium, probably not a good place to bring your date to. So choose your aquariums. Pumunta sa opera. Pumunta sa opera. To go to the opera. Pumunta sa opera. Or, to go to the opera. Mahilig si Maria sa opera songs, kaya pumunta sila ni Ibarra sa opera. Mahilig si Maria sa opera songs, kaya pumunta sila ni Ibarra sa opera. Maria likes opera songs. That's why she and Ibarra went to the opera. But in the Philippines, we don't have so much. There are theaters, of course, right? We can go to the theater, watch a play, right? See a musical. But opera, we don't really have opera. But before, I think in the history, you had like zarzuela, like really old types of opera, zarzuela or vaudeville, right? Those kinds of older ones. But they're not really being done now, I think. So, yeah, so those old songs. So that's why probably Maria likes opera songs, because it reminds her of her because Maria and Ibarra are Maria Clara actually. And Ibarra are characters from a novel by our national hero Jose Rizal. And yeah, they like opera songs. Pumunta sa zoo. Pumunta sa zoo. To go to the zoo. Pumunta sa zoo. To go to the zoo. Pumunta kami sa zoo sa Kenya. Pumunta kami sa zoo sa Kenya. We went to a zoo in Kenya. Wow, they're very rich. You go to Kenya and just go to a zoo. Right. I haven't been to Kenya. I wish I could go to Kenya. I think it would be really, really exciting to go to Kenya. But if you don't have money, and you're already in the Philippines, there's so many zoos in there, right? Manila Zoo is one big zoo.
Wildlife.
Yeah, Parks and Wildlife in Quezon City, right? And where else?
If you're in Bohol, you go see Tarsier.
Yeah, so see Tarsier if you're in Bohol. And we have so much like fauna, right? So much to see in the Philippines. You will look at very cute animals. Scary animals.
Why do you think it's romantic to?
But I don't know also. I don't know. Let's ask people. Why is it romantic to go to the zoo? Please let us know. Mag-picnic. Mag-picnic. To have a picnic. Mag-picnic. Or to have a picnic. Masayang mag-picnic kasama ang ibang kaibigan. Masayang mag-picnic kasama ang ibang kaibigan. It's enjoyable to have a picnic with friends. This is a very good idea, I think, right? Then because I think if you're just like in the beginning of your dating, then you can see how this girl or this guy interacts with your friends. And it's a good, I think it helps you understand more if you're really going to be like good with this person, like good together with this person or not.
It's judgment time.
Yeah, and then at the same time, this is very affordable. Picnic is very affordable. Just like bring some stuff to eat, enjoy the weather, and then just have nice conversations with your friends, right? So I think it's a very good idea.
And bring the guitar.
Yeah, and then in the Philippines, actually, you bring a guitar because everyone likes to sing, right? And then just someone would be playing music and then you start singing, right? That's very, very nice. Then where can you have a picnic? Luneta Park, Quezon City Circle. In Luneta Park, you can have a very nice picnic there. But usually I go there with, I think, there were some mornings when I was a kid that Papa would just bring us all, me, Gilio, Mama, Eric. And then he would just take us to Parks and Wildlife and just have some picnic there. But usually we only have plantains. It's his favorite. He just boiled plantains and then we have it in the car and we're like, are we going to eat anywhere? Then he will say, here's plantain. Okay. Maghapunan at manood ng pelikula. Maghapunan at manood ng pelikula. To have dinner and see a movie. Maghapunan at manood ng pelikula. To have dinner and see a movie. Magandang ideya ba ng date ang maghapunan at manood ng pelikula? Magandang ideya ba ng date ang maghapunan at manood ng pelikula? Is having dinner and seeing a movie a good idea for a date? This is a usual idea for a date, right? This is like what most people would do for a date. Now, I think if you're in a relationship for a long time, but if you're just starting, then you go first to a dinner and then you go to a movies, right? Go to the movies because then again it's dark and then everyone is like much more beautiful people in dark places. Okay, so this is a very common idea for a first date. I think it's very good idea, very safe. If you don't want anything like adventurous, anything that will like surprise your date so much and make him scared, right? Go for it. Sumakay ng ferry. Sumakay ng ferry. To take a ferry ride. Sumakay ng ferry. To take a ferry ride. Sumakay ng ferry si Jerry at Cherry para ipagdiwang ang kanilang ika-4 na taong anibersaryo. Sumakay ng ferry si Jerry at Cherry para ipagdiwang ang kanilang ika-4 na taong anibersaryo. Jerry and Cherry took a ferry ride to celebrate their 4-year anniversary. I think Jerry and Cherry are meant to be together.
And they're meant to
be in a ferry. Yeah, so if your name is Jerry and Cherry, then it's time to take a ferry, right? I think it's also a very romantic thing to do. Get on a ferry and then have like a cruise. I think there is like a ferry going to this small island near Manila. Maglakad sa beach. Maglakad sa beach. To walk on the beach. Maglakad sa beach. Or to walk on the beach. Nakita ko si Nino at Ninya na naglalakad sa beach habang magkahawak ng kamay. Nakita ko si Nino at Ninya na naglalakad sa beach habang magkahawak ang kamay. I saw Nino and Ninya walking on the beach while holding hands.
Aren't they like siblings?
No, I think they're just meant to be together. So again, if your name is Nino and Ninya and you're not siblings, you're meant to be together. Let's just make it clear, right? Yeah. And then you can walk along the beach, right? Holding hands. But this is also but if you're in the beach, right? With your, on the beach, with your girlfriend or boyfriend or any other loved one, it's time to hold their hands. And be romantic.
Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now.
10 ways to remember words. So, knowing how to remember words will actually help us learn Filipino better and faster. So, let's go to the first way. So, the first way is sa pamamagitan ng pag-uulit, through repetition. Mas maaalala mo ang mga salita sa pamamagitan ng pag-uulit. You will remember the words better through repetition. Repeating stuff to yourself is actually very helpful. So even when you're reviewing for exams, that's how many people actually get to remember words. And one tip, if you're going to review or try to remember words or things that you just want to do, better study them before you go to bed. Do you know that? So the next way is manood ng TV series na may subtitle. To watch TV series with subtitles. 3 beses sa isang araw ako nanonood ng TV series na may subtitle para matuto ng Filipino. I watch TV series with subtitles 3 times a day in order to learn Filipino. For instance, because I'm learning Japanese now, so I also watch lots of dramas or anime, of course. And then you have subtitles there, and then you hear words, you begin to associate words with the English words that you see in the subtitle. So sort of like you get the idea of what these words mean. And then of course you have to check them if they are really what you think they are. And then by hearing them again and again, and then again through repetition, you will eventually learn these words much easier. The third way is magsanay sa pamamagitan ng pagsusulat. To practice by writing. Magaling si Lenny sa balarila dahil siya ay laging nagsasanay magsulat sa Filipino. Lenny is good at grammar because she always practices by writing in Filipino. I think this is very important to distinguish. It's very important to distinguish between spoken Filipino and written Filipino. So in our example sentence, Lenny, this girl, is better in grammar because she always practices by writing. Because in written Filipino is actually a lot more formal than spoken Filipino. So if you want to really learn the formal Filipino, then the best way for you to learn it is to practice it by writing. So the next is magbasa ng malakas. To read out loud. Basahin mo ng malakas ang mga salita. In English, read the words out loud. So why would it actually help? Because it's like you're saying it and then you're hearing it at the same time. Yeah, because sometimes if you're just like trying to read something and you just try to remember things, you cannot really, I mean, you can remember, but of course it's different when you start speaking it out loud. So that's why when you attend, say, language classes, there are classes just for reading, right? And for speaking. So you can also build confidence when you speak. So you know how the words are spoken. Next is, gumawa ng mga kwento. To make up stories. It doesn't mean that you should be gossiping or lying and making up stories about people, no. This means, let's hear the example sentence. Gumawa ka ng kwento tungkol sa iyong mga karanasan sa Filipino. Make up stories about your experiences in Filipino. You can pretend that you've been to the Philippines, right? And then just like write things about, what I will do in the Philippines is if I'm going there, or if I already went there, what I would have done. So you can just like invent things that, just to practice. So I remember when I was in university, I was learning Italian. And one of the things that we were always asked to write is just like little paragraphs about what you do in a day, just to practice using different words every day and just like getting used to writing things in that language. It actually helps really a lot. But I forgot my Italian already. Next is, lumikha ng ugnayan ng mga salita. To create associations between words. Lumilikha ako ng ugnayan ng mga salita para hindi ko makalimutan. I create associations of words in order not to forget them. So I think this is very useful in Filipino since in Filipino there are many words that sound similar, but are actually different. They mean differently. So for instance, you want to say wet in Filipino, then you would say basa. But it also, the same 4 letters you would use to say read, which is basa. So it's just like different way of pronouncing the words. In a way, it makes it difficult, but also you can get like 2 ideas of those 4 letters together, right? So when you see B-A-S-A, you immediately associate it with either getting wet or reading a book, which is kind of like really far, but at least you immediately like get 2 words at once. And they don't really make fun of your language, so it's fine. Because everyone speaks like kind of casual. Unless you're writing, then of course, then you don't need to worry about pronunciation, but you have to worry about your grammar. Next is, magkabisa sa pamamagitan ng pakikinig. To memorize by listening. Magaling ang pandinig ni Kay dahil kaya niyang kabisaduhin ang salita kahit sa pamamagitan ng pakikinig lamang. Kay has good ears because she can memorize words just by listening. So some people can actually really remember words just by listening, but it depends on the language. So for instance, in Filipino, it's actually kind of easy to remember things by hearing. But say you're learning Chinese or Japanese, right? Then just by hearing, you cannot really easily remember the meaning of the words unless you also check the meaning of how it's written. So, but in Filipino, it's kind of easier to really understand the meaning of words just by listening, and especially by understanding the context. Next is, magbasa ng simpleng mga babasahin. To read simple texts. Kapag may pagsasalin, subukan mong basahin ang mga simpleng babasahin sa Filipino kaysa sa Ingles. If there's a translation, try to read simple text in Filipino rather than in English. It's actually for more practice. So because sometimes when you have textbooks, right, there's always an English version of it and the version of the language that you're studying. So sometimes it helps if you go first, read the word in the target language, and then you read the English, because you can sort of first guess what it means and then check if you actually got the meaning. And that's actually very helpful. And I say actually a lot. Next is, makinig ng kanta na may lyrics. To listen to songs with lyrics. Maraming magagandang kantang Filipino na may lyrics na mapapakinggan sa YouTube. There are a lot of nice songs with lyrics in Filipino that you can listen to on YouTube. Why there are so many songs with lyrics in Filipino? Because Filipinos like to do karaoke. Or in Filipino, videoke. Actually, that's how we say it, videoke. Videoke. Because we like doing this karaoke a lot. So there's so many places where you can go to do karaoke, right? And then even on days that you don't want to do karaoke, people are still doing karaoke. Your neighbors are still singing. Everyone is singing. It's everyone's birthday every day. So there's always going to be someone singing around you. Next is, ulitin bago matulog. To repeat before going to sleep. Ulitin mo bago matulog ang mga salitang natutunan mo. Repeat the words you've learned before going to sleep. This is actually very, very helpful because now I'm learning how to bike. I was gifted a bike for my birthday because I was told that I need to learn a new skill. And then every evening I actually practice it. And then one of my friends said, you should study something or practice something before going to bed. And then after you practice this, don't do anything anymore. So don't look at your phone, don't read anything. If you want this information to be retained in your mind and in your body, if it's like an activity. So actually, learning how to bike every evening helped me a lot. So now I can bike.
The top 10 phrases you'll need for a date. Gusto mo bang kumain sa labas ng magkasama? Gusto mo bang kumain sa labas ng magkasama? Would you like to go out to dinner with me? The first phrase or sentence that you would need is, gusto mo bang kumain sa labas ng magkasama? In English,
Would you like to go out to dinner with me? Yeah, it's a bit too formal. But I think that's how it should be, right? Like, because dates are serious things. So first you have to introduce yourself. I would assume that this is already by the time that they are friends, right? Then you would say, oh, would you like to go out to dinner with me? Would you like to have drinks? Blah, blah. Snacks. Or if this girl's a tita, you would say, would you like to have tea with me? Libre ka ba sa katapusan ng linggo? Libre ka ba sa katapusan ng linggo? Are you free this weekend? Libre ka ba sa katapusan ng linggo? Are you free this weekend? Probably that's when his salary is going to come. That's why he's asking you this weekend. But I think it's a good time for everyone, weekends, right? Unless they work on the weekends, then it might be hard. Or you can say, are you free this evening, right? Then you would say, libre ka ba mamayang gabi or bukas ng gabi? Mamayang gabi meaning later tonight, or bukas ng gabi meaning tomorrow night, right? So it's libre ka ba sa, and then your time or the date when you want. You can be specific, say on Friday the 13th or something like that, right? November 1, right? December 25. So, are you free this weekend? Or are you free tomorrow? Or are you free this Saturday? Gusto mo bang lumabas ng magkasama? Gusto mo bang lumabas ng magkasama? Would you like to hang out with me? Gusto mo bang lumabas ng magkasama? Would you like to hang out with me? Probably this guy doesn't have money this time because he just like to hang out. Or no? I think because because it's not about dinner, right? Or it's just like hanging out. What do you mean? What do you really mean when you say hang out? I'm this like a question. I always think like, oh yeah, hang out. If you say you want to go out somewhere, it usually means the mall, because the mall is place with air conditioner. Wow. Ang cute mo sobra. Ang cute mo sobra. You are so cute. Ang cute mo sobra, which means you are so cute. Ang cute mo sobra. When you're already together and you find each other too cute, right? And that's when you say, oh, you're so cute. I'm so gigil. Gigil is like this feeling that you feel that you cannot like contain because this person is so cute. I combine this word with kilig. Kilig is like this feeling. Now it's in the Oxford Dictionary, kilig, so you can search for it. Yes, yes. So it's part of now the Oxford Dictionary. So kilig is like this feeling. To describe it's like this feeling that you feel when you're in love, right? Anyway, so we have this word kilig and then gigil. And I usually combine kilig gigil, which is like, you're so kilig, that's why you're so gigil. Do you understand? Yeah. So it's kilig gigil. That's a new word for you. Ang ganda mo. Ang ganda mo. You look great. Ang ganda mo. That sounded sarcastic. Again, ang ganda mo. Ang ganda mo. You look great. So, if you're really like going on a date with this person and you see this person like looking so pretty or so handsome, then you can say, ang ganda mo or ang guwapo mo, right? For males. Guwapo is handsome. Yeah, not necessarily males, a kind of like masculine figure. But that's still like dichotomy, right? It's hard. Philippine languages, there are words that are not gendered, but there are like adjectives that are very gendered. So you can just say in English, you look great. Mi amore. No, that's Italian. Tatawagan kita. Tatawagan kita. I'll call you. Tatawagan kita. Tatawagan kita. I'll call you. It's like a job.
Yeah.
I'm going to call you. I'm sorry. You didn't get the job. It can mean like, I'm going to call you when you get home. I'm going to call you before you sleep. I'm going to call you in the morning. So, kita is like a combined pronoun for me to you, something like that. So, it's almost literally like, I'm going to make a call from me to you, right? That's how it means. Ipag-drive na kita pauwi. Ipag-drive na kita pauwi. I will drive you home. Ipag-drive na kita pauwi. Ipag-drive na kita pauwi. I will drive you home. So this is if your boyfriend or girlfriend has a car to drive you home. Otherwise, you would have to walk home. No, you need a train. Get on the train, endure like a so long wait in the train, finally get home. I don't know, so hard. No, or you can take a cab. I mean, if you're an independent woman, do you need to be driven? No. Or your own bike. I have my own bike. Yeah. Anong oras tayo magkikita bukas? Anong oras tayo magkikita bukas? What time shall we meet tomorrow? Anong oras tayo magkikita bukas? Anong oras tayo magkikita bukas? What time shall we meet tomorrow? You already asked the person, do you want to hang out with me? The person said yes. Then now you would schedule the time. Because you have to be on time. Because you have to make good impressions, right? Because otherwise, sorry. So, how do you answer this? You can say, oh, let's meet at 9 a.m. If you're going for to jog together, right? That's also a good activity, like a couple activity, right? Or you can say, let's meet at 7 p.m. for dinner. So you would say, magkita tayo ng alas 7 ng gabi. Or in English, let's meet at 7 p.m. Pwede ba kitang makita muli? Pwede ba kitang makita muli? Can I see you again? Pwede ba kitang makita muli? Pwede ba kitang makita muli? Can I see you again? No. So, yeah. Can I see you again? It's like you're asking for a second date, right? So after you get done the first date, then things are okay, you had a great evening, you can say, oh, can I see you again? Pwede ba kitang makita muli? What time shall we meet then tomorrow if you decide to have it tomorrow? Pwede ba tayong pumunta sa ibang lugar? Pwede ba tayong pumunta sa ibang lugar? Shall we go somewhere else? Pwede ba tayong pumunta sa ibang lugar? Pwede ba tayong pumunta sa ibang lugar? Shall we go somewhere else? So, what do you mean when you say go somewhere else? You have to be specific. Probably you're just bored of the place where you're always going to. Or you want to go somewhere else, if you know what I mean. So it's up to you. You can use this. Go. Go ahead and multiply. Go. Malls in the Philippines are so fun.
Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now.
The top 10 phrases your parents always say. So let's see what your parents usually say to you. Mag-ingat ka. Mag-ingat ka. Be careful. So usually your parents will say this to you if you are leaving the house, or usually send you a text, oh, be careful. Or sometimes they will jokingly say, mag-ingat sila sa'yo. In English, they should be careful of you because you are a danger to society. Look at you. Tumahimik ka. Tumahimik ka. Be quiet. So usually if you're very loud, your parents will tell this to you. Your mom might be mad because you said something or you're just talking back, right? And then she would say, tumahimik ka. Or just sometimes you're just very talkative and your mom is watching TV, some soap opera. She will say, tumahimik ka. Magtino ka nga. Magtino ka nga. Behave. The weight of the meaning in Filipino is kind of different in English, right? Because in English, you would just say, okay, behave. But in Filipino, it's as if you did something really bad. This if you watch many, say, family dramas or very dramatic movies, Filipino movies, there's always the scene where the dad is telling the kid, magtino ka nga. Gawin mo ang iyong takdang aralin. Gawin mo ang iyong takdang aralin. Do your homework. This is very useful, and this is something that you would always hear from your parents, especially if you have a helicopter mom, right? Helicopter mom is like those moms that are usually over. This is real. This is real. Helicopter parenting is a parent who pays extremely close attention to a child or children's experiences and problem, particularly at educational institutions. You know, those kinds of parents who are always waiting. Actually, my mom was like that. No, she's not a helicopter mom, but she's always like waiting outside the school, waiting for me to come out of the school. I think my mom just hangs out there because she has many friends. Doesn't really care. Matulog ka na. Matulog ka na. Go to bed. I actually go to bed earlier than my mom, so I tell her, let's go to bed because I just want to sleep. I don't know what she's doing. This is a very common phrase that I hear between my mom and my sister. Because my sister, I don't know, she watches so much telenovelas in the evening. Magbibilang ako hanggang 3. Magbibilang ako hanggang 3. I'm going to count to 3. But my mom just counts to 1. I don't know if she's really good at counting, but she just counts to 1 and they're like, pa, right? Tumigil ka. Tumigil ka. Stop. I don't know, it's a common thing to hear from your mom. Because I know she's just always irritated. She's always irritated. You do something and then she's like, tumigil ka. You do something, tumigil ka, right? I remember my sister's always initiating fights. Not me. She's always starting the fight. And she just bites. And when she starts biting, I'm just like, no, I'm out. I don't want this. I didn't ask for this. Anong sinabi mo? Anong sinabi mo? What did you say? When you say something a bit like, they didn't like it, when you say it or how you said it, the words you use, they would say, what did you say? But I think they just have a problem with their hearing. Hindi ako nagbibiro. Hindi ako nagbibiro. I'm not kidding. Yeah, you should understand this when she says this. And usually she's not kidding. Because she's always like, I'm not kidding. If you don't stop this, right? Hindi ako nagbibiro. Kung hindi ka tumigil, kung hindi ka titigil, blah, 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 blah. Then, a long list of the stuff that she won't do or she would do, depending, right? She won't do, for instance, she won't like cook anymore or she won't help you with your homework or stuff like that. Moms are always not kidding. Patayin mo na ang TV. Kung hindi, patayin mo na ang TV. Kung hindi, turn the TV off now or else. So that is the same thing, the same scenario that I was talking about when she says, I'm not kidding, or else, because there's always an or else, right? So turn off the TV or turn off the PC, right? Patayin mo na ang TV, patayin mo na ang PC, or else, kung hindi, and then a list of things that she would do or she won't do. 10 ways to save the planet in Filipino. Magboluntaryo to volunteer. Magboluntaryo to volunteer. Pagkatapos ng sakuna, maraming oportunidad para magboluntaryo. After a disaster, there are a lot of opportunities to volunteer. Protektahan to protect. Protektahan, which means to protect. Kailangan nating protektahan ang mga nanganganib na uri ng hayop. In English, we need to protect endangered species. Actually, in Filipino, we use lots of English words. So we can say, kailangan nating protektahan ang mga endangered species. Mag-reuse to reuse. Mag-reuse to reuse. Ang pag-reuse ay isang paraan ng pagtitipid. In English, reusing is one way of saving. Pangalagaan, to conserve. Pangalagaan, which means to conserve. In Filipino, pangalagaan natin ang mga likas na yaman. Let's conserve natural resources. Magbawas ng basura, to reduce trash. Magbawas ng basura, to reduce trash. Kailangan magbawas ng basura ang mga industriya. Industries need to reduce their wastes. Don't say it as mga. Say it as mga. Pangalagaan ang kalikasan. to care for the environment. Pangalagaan ang kalikasan. To care for the environment. Pangalagaan natin ang kalikasan para sa susunod na henerasyon. Take care of the environment for future generations. Which is actually true. Gumamit ng mga produktong eco-friendly. To use eco-friendly products. Gumamit ng mga produktong eco-friendly, which means to use eco-friendly products. Ang pagdala ng tote bag sa pamimili sa grocery ay isang paraan ng paggamit ng produktong eco-friendly. Bringing a tote bag to the grocery store is a way of using eco-friendly products. Magtipid ng tubig, to conserve water. Magtipid ng tubig, to conserve water. Dapat tayong magtipid ng tubig dahil hindi lahat ay may sapat na tubig. Beware. We need to conserve water because not everyone has sufficient water. Bumuo ng parke, to build parks. Bumuo ng parke, to build parks. Isang magandang ideya ang bumuo ng parke sa gitna ng lungsod. It's a good idea to build a park in the center of the city. Gumamit ng pampublikong transportasyon. To use public transportation. Gumamit ng pampublikong transportasyon. To use public transportation. Gumamit tayo ng pampublikong transportasyon para mabawasan ang CO2 emissions. Let's use public transportation to reduce CO2 emissions.
Want to speed up your language learning? Get access to all of our best PDF cheat sheets for free. Just click the link in the description and sign up for your free lifetime account right now.
Kamusta? Kamusta? How are you? So the first word is, how are you? In Filipino, kamusta? So this is very useful when you pass by someone, you want to know how they are, right? Or you just want to ask someone how they are. At ikaw? At ikaw. And you? At ikaw? Or in English, and you? How do you usually respond when people ask you, how are you? And you? So if you're trying to avoid answering this question, you can ask, at ikaw? Or, and you? Probably you're like feeling too tired from work or something, right? Or you can, like casually, more people would say, ikaw? Or just simply, ikaw? It all means, and you. So it's a kind of like a nice gesture if someone asks you, how are you? And then you want to ask the same question because you just want to be nice. Kamusta ka naman kamakailan? Kamusta ka naman kamakailan? How have you been recently? So if you want to be more specific about asking them how they are in a certain period of time, you can ask, kamusta ka naman kamakailan? Or, how have you been recently? So, probably you would have friends that would have gone to vacation or would have found a new job or would have graduated from university, which is only. And then, you can ask them, how have you been recently? Mabuti ako. Mabuti ako. I'm fine. So how do you answer all these how are you questions and variations of how are you? First, you can say, if you are really feeling this, mabuti ako, or I'm fine. Of course, you can say it if you're not fine, right? I mean, if you just want to because sometimes when you say, I'm not so okay, I'm feeling a bit down, then they would ask you more things. But sometimes if you don't want to answer any of these things, but you are not fine, you can still say, I'm fine. But in Filipino, you ask people how are you because you want to know how they are. Or we don't really say this as a greeting. Okay naman ako. Okay naman ako. I'm not bad. Aside from I'm fine, how can you respond to how are you? You can say, okay naman ako, or I'm not bad. So if you are feeling like saying that you are not so fine, but you are also not fine, you can say, well, I'm not bad. It's okay. Everything's cool. But I'm crying inside. I'm dead inside. Okay. Inaantok ako. Inaantok ako. I'm sleepy. If you're feeling sleepy, you can say, inaantok ako. Or, I'm sleepy. After lunch, usually that's the time when you feel this, like, you're really like sleepy. Even though you have lots of work, you're feeling sleepy. Or sometimes you don't have lots of work, you're feeling sleepy. So, you can say it. It's valid. It's okay. Just don't say it to your boss. I don't think if your boss asks you, how are you? I'm sleepy. Oh, that's not really good. Well, probably should go home, not come back anymore. Goodbye. Thank you for your service. That's how it will go, right? Masama ang pakiramdam ko. Masama ang pakiramdam ko. I'm feeling bad. Or if you are not feeling so well, you can say, masama ang pakiramdam ko. Or, I'm feeling bad. So, you can say this if you have a bit of cold, for instance, or your stomach is upset, or what else? Or you have a broken heart, like those kinds of things. So, if you want to say that you're feeling bad, you say, masama ang pakiramdam ko. Okay ako. Okay ako. I'm okay. But what if you're just fine? What if you're just okay, but you don't want to say, I'm fine? Or, mabuti naman ako, or ayos naman ako. You can also say casually, okay ako, which is very casual. Very simple, okay ako. Okay na okay ako. Okay na okay ako. I'm great. If you want to say that you are really doing great, then you can say, okay na okay ako. You would have to note that in Filipino, when you repeat words, it what's it called? It's like it's a superlative version of the adjective, kind of, but it's not. But it's kind of like amps up the impact of the adjective. So it's equivalent to very. So you would say okay na okay ako, meaning I'm super duper okay, right? Or if you're really, for instance, sleepy, you would say antok na antok ako instead of just saying antok ako, right? Salamat sa pagtatanong. Salamat sa pagtatanong. Thank you for asking. And for instance, you were feeling bad and then this person that asked you, how are you, made you feel happy, then you can say, thank you for asking, or salamat sa pagtatanong. Because of course, you felt happy that someone asked you, especially if you're feeling bad.
Pwede ba akong makakuha ng mapa? Could I get a map? Pwede ba akong makakuha ng mapa? Pwede ba akong makakuha ng mapa? Could I get a map? If you don't wanna use up your roaming on your Google Maps, there's always maps in the tourist information guide. Or actually, in bookstores, you could also buy maps if you need them. Nagsasalita ka ba ng Ingles? Do you speak English? Here's another phrase you might want to learn. Nagsasalita ka ba ng Ingles? Nagsasalita ka ba ng Ingles? Do you speak English? Well, perhaps the answer to this is maybe perhaps yes. I don't know. But let's not assume. Let's not assume that everyone in the Philippines speak English, but most of us do. May bus bang galing airport papuntang syudad? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? May bus bang galing airport papuntang syudad? May bus bang galing airport papuntang syudad? Is there a bus from the airport to the city? Well, if you are flying from Manila, the airport is actually in the middle of the city, so you don't really need a bus. I wouldn't really know because my family is very nice enough to always get me from the airport if I need to be coming from the airport in the Philippines. Thank you, family! Libre ba ang Wi-Fi? Is the Wi-Fi free? In this day and age, I think this one is very important. Libre ba ang Wi-Fi? Libre ba ang Wi-Fi? This means, is the Wi-Fi free? Yeah, so like if you have your iPhone, iMac, love you with you, then you might want to get a Wi-Fi. Meron ba kayong bakanting kwarto ngayong gabi? Do you have any vacancies tonight? Okay, here's another phrase you might want to know when you're asking at the hotel. Meron ba kayong bakanting kwarto ngayong gabi? Meron ba kayong bakanting kwarto ngayong gabi? This means, do you have any vacancies for tonight? So yeah, I don't know why you wouldn't reserve beforehand at the hotel, but in case you didn't, this is a good phrase you might want to remember. Pwede bang lumipat sa ibang kwarto? Could I move to a different room? Pwede bang lumipat sa ibang kwarto? Pwede bang lumipat sa ibang kwarto? Could I move to a different room? You never know, maybe you have noisy neighbors, or you just feel like there's someone else in the room. Let's hope not. Then you might want to ask this question. May reservation ako. I have a reservation. May reservation ako. May reservation ako. I have a reservation. Yeah, it's very simple. Easy to remember. May, it sounds like the 5th month of the year. Reservation. Reservation. Ako. Me. May reservation ako. Pwedeng makahingi ng menu? Could we have the menu, please? Okay, so here's another one that I think you will find useful and would use a lot, since food is very cheap in the Philippines and you want to try a lot of restaurants. Pwedeng makahingi ng menu? Pwedeng makahingi ng menu? Could we have the menu, please? There you go. Eat to your heart's content. Try out all the restaurants you want and just don't go to McDonald's every time. Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Could I have the check? Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Could I have the check? So usually there's a gesture in the Philippines for the check, and it's like this. It's like a rectangle. So when you do this to the waiter or waitress, whatever, then that means you want the bill. But you could also remember this word. You could also try and remember this phrase. Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Allergic ako sa mani. I'm allergic to peanuts. Okay, here's one very important travel phrase in case you're someone like this. Allergic ako sa mani. Allergic ako sa mani. I'm allergic to peanuts. Allergic is also the same in Filipino. So you just need to find the Filipino word for the thing that you're allergic to. Like in this case, peanuts is mani. Like maybe chicken. Chicken is manok. Allergic ako sa manok. Shrimp, maybe shrimp. Allergic ako sa hipon. Anyway, if you're allergic to something and you want to find out what it is in Filipino, perhaps maybe you could just put it in the comments and we'll try to help you out. Tubig po. Water, please. Here's another travel phrase you should know. Tubig po. Water, please. So here, po doesn't actually mean please. It's a polite particle. You add it to the sentence to make it sound polite, because you want to be polite when asking for water, since it's like free. You need to be polite. Magkano ito? How much is this? Magkano ito? Magkano ito? This means, how much is this? So yeah, definitely travel also means you want to go shopping. So you might want to remember this phrase. How much is this? Magkano ito? So ito actually is this. So it has to be somewhere near you. Gusto ko ng 10 nito. I'd like 10 of these. Okay, so if you want not just one of something, you could try using this one. Gusto ko ng 10 nito. Gusto ko ng 10 nito. This means I'd like 10 of these. 10 means 10. So if you replace 10 with another number, then you could make any sentence you want.
For example, you want, I don't know, 50. 50 is 50. So, gusto ko ng 50 nito. Or if you just want 3, you could say, gusto ko ng 3 nito. I don't know what these are. But if it's 10, maybe it's like some kind of souvenir, you know. Pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Could you give me a discount? Hey, another travel phrase you should know is, especially in the Philippines, and if you wanna have some bargain, pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Pwede niyo ba akong bigyan ng discount? Could you give me a discount? So, here's a tip when you're trying to bargain for something. You don't just ask this. You should have a price in mind that you would like to offer them back. So, it's more of like a negotiation, not like, oh, can you give me a discount? They'll probably ask you, so how much would you like to buy it for? So you have to be prepared for that and not just ask, give me a discount. You say, you have to name your price as well. Tumatanggap ba kayo ng credit card? Do you take credit card? Here's another phrase that you might want to know when traveling. Tumatanggap ba kayo ng credit card? Tumatanggap ba kayo ng credit card? Do you take credit card? So yeah, like, of course, you just have a limited cash that you exchange. I mean, your currency for the local currency. So you might want to just spend the cash in the places that don't accept credit card. Or else you might really need it somewhere that doesn't accept anything else but cash and you didn't have it. So yeah, you might want to ask this question a lot. Nasaan ang istasyon ng tren? Where's the train station? Nasaan ang istasyon ng tren? Nasaan ang istasyon ng tren? Where's the train station? There's not really much train stations in the Philippines, but there's just like a few of them, maybe 20, 30, and they're only just in Metro Manila. So, but bus stations are also not that common. It's basically, maybe we should like make a whole video discussing transportation in the Philippines, because it's very complicated actually. It's not just like, hey, there's trains and stations. It's more of like, you need to know which buses take which route and how much it costs beforehand, because anyway, you need to be a real veteran to survive Philippine public transportation.
Want to speak real Filipino from your first lesson? Sign up for your free lifetime account at filipinopod101.com.
Salamat, pero sa totoo lang, hindi ako isang native speaker. Thank you, but I'm not a native speaker actually. If you start learning now, you'll be one of those few foreigners who can amaze Filipinos.
Next one is energy drink. It means energy drinks. Okay, you could use it in this sentence like, mahilig si Tom uminom ng energy drink. Which means Tom loves drinking energy drinks. I'd like to replace Tom with Ice. Ice likes to drink energy drinks. But Monster is my favorite one. Energy drinks. This is Filipino energy drink. It's called Cobra. And there's lots of flavors. Nalulumbay. This means lonely. Actually, this is quite like an old word. Like, it's kind of poetic even to say nalulumbay. It's just, it makes it look, it feels very dark. So if you have a friend, Carmen, who's lonely, then maybe you could use this sentence. Nalulumbay si Carmen ngayon, kaya pupuntahan ko siya. Nalulumbay si Carmen ngayon, kaya pupuntahan ko siya. Carmen is lonely now, so I will go to her. You're such a good friend. Carmen is very fortunate to have you. I feel like it's very good thing to do for a friend who's lonely.
Our next word is porsyento. In English, percent. Ilang porsyento ang income tax sa Pilipinas? Ilang porsyento ang income tax sa Pilipinas? How much is the income tax percentage in the Philippines?
This is one of my favorite things in a restaurant. Tubig. Because, you know, in Philippines it's hot and it's like you just, like after walking around all day or doing shopping or something, then you just want to sit down and like get that like very refreshing cold water. Yeah. But not only is it refreshing, it's also good for you. So just like in this sentence, magtubig lang tayo kasi libre na, maganda pa para sa kalusugan. Magtubig lang tayo kasi libre na, maganda pa para sa kalusugan. Let's just have water since it's free and it's good for the health. So, this is true. Water for life!
Ang Davao ang isa sa pinakamatiwasay na lungsod sa Pilipinas. Ang Davao ang isa sa pinakamatiwasay na lungsod sa Pilipinas. Davao is one of the safest cities in the Philippines. So I've been to Davao, I think twice. Really clean city. Really, and the thing that I enjoyed most in Davao is tuna. Davao is known for tuna and durian, right? Also. And tuna there, it's very affordable and very, very good and very, very fresh. I was there with some of my Japanese colleagues and every day we're eating tuna. It's tuna. But we liked it. So we ordered like tuna belly or tuna cheek or tuna jaw or tuna head. It's the same thing. Like the entire tuna but chopped. So if you want to eat really good tuna and durian, please come to Davao. Gumamit na mga produktong eco-friendly, which means to use eco-friendly products. Ang pagdala ng tote bag sa pamimili sa grocery ay isang paraan ng paggamit ng produktong eco-friendly. Bringing a tote bag to the grocery store is a way of using eco-friendly products. Magsaya kasama ang mga kaibigan. In English, to have fun with friends. Mas mainam pang magsaya kasama ang mga kaibigan kaysa mag-party, magdamag. It's better to have fun with friends than to party all night. So much not funnier. But you can do anything that you want since it's summer. No one will judge you. It's summer. This is very useful actually if you're very enthusiastic to see your friend that you haven't seen since summer vacation. Next gift idea is magarbong kainan or fancy restaurant. Maraming magarbong kainan sa Manila. There are a lot of fancy restaurants in Manila. Online, you can buy vouchers, right, for discounted tickets, discounted prices for meals in different fancy restaurants. So I remember my brother when he had his, I don't know how old he is, but when he treated us for his birthday, he bought some vouchers online for this very fancy restaurant. So we went there and then it was his treat. And he saved a lot of money. And then we ate a lot actually. So you can buy those things online. There's so many places online, Philippine websites, right, that they sell those gift certificates and vouchers. Salamat or thank you.
Can I borrow money? Guess not. I know this word is a favorite for a lot of people, but I think a lot of people also want to know what this sentence is in Filipino. Wala akong pera. Wala akong pera. Which means I have no money. So I cannot treat you anything. But if we have love, that's enough, I think.
How do you express agreement in Filipino? You say, oo, which means yes. Very simple. For example, there's an older person talking to you and you want to say yes. You should be a bit more polite and say opo. So what if you want to say no? Then you use hindi. Or if you want to be polite, you say hindi po. So say you have a friend who asks you, do you want to drink with me all night, have party all night, you know, those kind of things. And then you say, yeah, fine, okay. So in Filipino, you say, sige, gamitin, to use. So for example, I don't know where you can use actually you can use gamitin a lot. For example, let's use it in a proper sentence. Hindi natin pwedeng gamitin ang may nakasulat na bawal gamitin. So, in English, we can say, we can't use the ones which are marked don't use. I have a pretty straightforward, don't use it. If you did something really, really bad, then we use patawad. I'm sorry, lumabas, or to go out. So, you want to ask permission from your parents before you go out. How do we say it in Filipino? Magpaalam ka muna sa iyong mga magulang bago ka lumabas. Ask permission from your parents before you go out. Someday, kids, you will be parents too. Nasaan ang CR? Or, to be polite, because even at that time, you have to be polite, even if it's like really urgent. You have to be polite. You say, nasaan po ang CR? The next verb is magtrabaho, or to work. So, for example, you want to say, as much as possible, I don't want to work overtime. In Filipino, you can tell your boss, ayaw kong magtrabaho ng overtime hanggat maaari. Mag, it's the way you conjugate verbs, but it's in Filipino. And then trabaho comes from the Spanish word trabajo. So if you say to your boss, because your boss is asking you, where is the report? You want to say, wait a moment. So you say, sandali lang po. So your friends came over to your house and you haven't taken a bath. You haven't fixed yourself. And then your friends just want to go out to have fun. But you want to say, wait a moment, wait a minute. Give me like an hour or something to at least get ready. So you would say, sandali lang. So next verb is maramdaman, or to feel. For example, you really are irritated with a person, and you don't want the person to feel that you're irritated with him or her. So if you want to say in English, I don't want her to feel that I'm frustrated, then you would say, in Filipino, ayaw kong maramdaman niya ang inis ko sa kanya. But I think you have to approach her and tell her that you are frustrated. So go ahead and tell her. After dinner, you want to pay because it's your treat, because you forced your friends to eat adobo. So you would ask the waitress or the waiter for the check. So how do you say it in Filipino? Pwede bang makuha ang bill? Could I get the check, please? Or, if you cannot remember all these, just simply do this. Mag-iwan. It actually means to leave something. You want to say in Filipino, mag-iwan ka ng 500 pesos or ng 500 piso para pambili ng pagkain. In English, please leave 500 pesos to buy food. It's the end of the day and you've had fun with your friends. So you tell your friends, oh, okay, bye. See you again soon. Which in Filipino is hanggang sa muli. But in regular conversations, you don't really say this. We tend to say, see you, or sige.
In this video, you'll learn 3 reasons you're never too old to learn a language, and you'll also learn 3 ways our learning system can help people of all ages to study efficiently. Number 1, seniors have better focus. Learning a new language in your 50s or 60s may actually be easier than learning as a teenager or young adult. More mature adults can better focus on the details necessary to master a new language. Older people are also often more dedicated to their goals and put more work into achieving them. Seniors are better able to focus on completing lessons and reaching goals. There are a lot of distractions out there these days for young people. There's everything from Facebook to Instagram and all the usual drama of daily life at work and at school. Seniors are typically less concerned with these kinds of things and are better at focusing on tasks until completion. This is extremely important for language study, where regular practice and attention to detail are key. Not only are you never too old to learn, you may have some advantages over younger learners. Our language learning program has a number of special tools to make learning a new language in your 50s or 60s easy. You'll use the same resources as a tech-savvy teenager. Number 2, learning is vital to healthy and happy living. Learning is actually vital to your health. Doing things like playing word games, doing puzzles, and even using online platforms like Luminosity do help keep the mind nimble. But nothing compares to learning a second language in terms of health benefits for your mind. Learning another language may be one of the very best retirement hobbies you can pick up. You can also apply your second language knowledge when you travel. Number 3, There are health benefits to learning new things after the age of 60. Learning a second language increases the number of neural pathways in the brain. Forging these new neural pathways helps you code and sort the new language you are learning. In addition, there are other brain health benefits associated with learning a new language. Here's a list of benefits bilingual people can enjoy. Higher overall general intelligence, better memory and memorization skills, better perception of surroundings, better focus, concentration, and attention to detail. So in a very real way, learning a new language is one of the best and most practical retirement hobbies you can find because it helps protect against cognitive decline as you age. Now let's talk about how our language learning program has methods to make sure you can start learning in your 50s, 60s, and beyond. Number 1, we have an intuitive, easy-to-use system. Learning in old age doesn't have to be hard or irritating. It can and should be fun. From your very first lesson, we'll make sure you're speaking fluently every day. You can start and stop each lesson as many times as you want. Study when you want, where you want, and at the pace you decide. Number 2, you'll find special tools to boost retention and performance. As we mature, learning to use the right tools is vital to getting jobs done fast and right. So we make it easier than ever to make learning in old age fun and rewarding with a wide range of tools to boost retention and performance, including spaced repetition flashcards, so you can learn vocab fast, line-by-line audio transcripts, so you can read along with each lesson, pronunciation and accent review, instructor lesson notes, review quizzes, 2,000 core words, enough for fluency. You are truly never too old to learn, with more than 20 tools and resources to help boost learning and performance. Number 3, you'll get support every step of the way. Although you may never be too old to learn, it doesn't hurt to have a little help along the way. Our language learning system has helped thousands of seniors learn and master a new language with help and support at every step. We offer 24/7 assistance. Just send us an email. We have dedicated language experts standing by to help you with any problem or issue you may be experiencing. There is also instructor feedback. Have specific questions about a lesson or your progress? You can directly email instructors and get direct responses to any question you may have about your studies or lessons. Or try studying with your very own instructor. Members of our exclusive Premium Plus plan not only get a custom curriculum tailored to their very own goals, they also gain access to their very own language instructor. Learning in old age isn't just a luxury. It's crucial to helping avoid the onset of Alzheimer's, dementia, and other age-related cognitive issues. Specifically, learning another language helps increase overall intelligence and improve awareness, memory, and overall cognitive function. So not only are you never too old to learn a new language for health reasons, it's a great way to meet new people and start adventures. Want to cut your language studying time in half? In this video, you'll discover how learning a language using PDF lessons is convenient, efficient, and can help you cut your studying time nearly in half. Many people give up on their dream of learning a second language because traditional classroom instruction is too much of a hassle. Between getting to class, studying on someone else's schedule, and just the sheer expense of the books and tuition, traditional learning can be tough. Many people simply give up. Online classes are an option, but sometimes limited data plans can derail the dream of learning a new language. Fortunately, there is a solution: learning language using PDF lesson notes. Let's take a closer look at how studying language lessons in PDF format can help you reach your dream in about half the time of normal video or audio lessons. First, print all lessons and PDF tools and take them with you anywhere. Sometimes a tiny smartphone screen just isn't adequate, especially when you're trying to learn something new. The great thing about PDF lessons is that they can be quickly printed and taken anywhere after you download them. In fact, printing out lessons in PDF format can actually save you time when compared to going through the material on a smartphone with a small screen, even with the extra printing time. Second, they're a great study tool to boost retention and mastery. Studying video or audio lessons online is a great way to learn a language because students can play and rewind sections as many times as needed until the lesson is mastered. But when you review the same lessons again in PDF format, an incredible thing happens. Your retention dramatically improves. Thanks to time-spaced repetition, seeing the information again in written format helps reinforce the information in your mind and improves both retention and recall. The benefits of learning a language using PDF lessons quickly add up to significant time savings for you, your data plan, and your dream of learning a new language. Third, all lessons in PDF format include in-depth instructor notes. We have thousands of HD video and audio lessons, and each one includes a PDF version with a line-by-line transcript, so you can read along with the lesson as it appears online. In addition to the line-by-line transcript, all lessons include in-depth instructor notes with more information, sample sentences, explanations, and translations. The additional information and notes help you learn faster and with greater mastery than using the video or audio lessons alone. And when paired with language learning video games, video and audio lessons, or other study aids, our PDF lessons help you reach your dream of learning a new language faster and easier than many traditional classroom settings. Fourth, you can download the world's largest online collection of lessons by real instructors. Planning on going on vacation and don't know if you'll have reliable internet service? If you're learning through PDF lessons, it's not a problem. Once you download lessons in PDF format to your smartphone, PC, or favorite media device, they are yours to use and keep forever. Once downloaded, you can either print out or access your lessons in PDF format, regardless of internet access. When you consistently learn through PDF lessons, the time savings and benefits quickly compound. From quicker access to faster learning, PDF lessons can potentially reduce total study time required to learn a concept. Our PDF lessons include instructor notes and supplemental resources that help you learn faster and with less effort. Does having a study partner help you learn a language faster? For most people, having a friend or romantic partner who is a native speaker of their target language dramatically improves their ability to master the language. In this video, we'll talk about some ways to help you build relationships with people. We'll also talk about 3 reasons having a native speaker partner can improve your language fluency. First, knowing a native speaker helps you better understand the culture. Knowing a native speaker gets you connected with the culture in ways that no lessons or textbooks ever could. Native speakers are better informed about the latest slang expressions and know interesting places to eat and hang out. Having a friend or partner who is a native speaker can dramatically improve your understanding of the language. In addition to language, you can learn about cultural practices, gestures, and relationships. Second, having a native speaker partner increases your exposure to the language. Practice makes perfect is a well-known expression that is certainly true for language learning. When you have a friend, romantic partner, or study buddy, you speak to them through text messages, phone calls, and basic interaction. These are all opportunities for you to practice the language. Making an effort to practice will help your vocabulary quickly expand beyond simple greetings, flirtatious words, and basic comments to deeper, more meaningful conversations. Third, a supportive partner is the best study aid you can find. We all make mistakes, especially when trying to learn a new language. But if you have a supportive partner, they can gently point out your mistakes and help you find better ways to express yourself. And if your native speaker study partner is also your romantic partner, your motivation will likely be even higher than someone who does not have a romantic relationship with a native speaker. Now, let's look at 3 ways our language learning program helps you learn even faster if you have a native speaker partner. First, all resources and materials are available in English and in your target language. Studying with a partner is special because it's an opportunity for both of you to learn a new language. That's why every single lesson, transcript, vocabulary list, and resource on our website is available in English and in your target language. You can learn from each other. Second, lessons are designed to help you understand and engage with culture. On our website, our focus is to help our students learn practical vocabulary and phrases that are actually used in everyday conversation. This means that from your very first lesson, you can start applying what you learn immediately. So if you want to go out to a restaurant, play games, or attend a social function with your partner, you'll have the vocabulary and phrases necessary to have a great time. Third, access to special resources dedicated to romantic phrases. If your study partner is your romantic partner, we have resources to help you communicate your feelings correctly. Our language learning program has special sections and tools to teach you love words, phrases, and cultural insights. Of course, please remember that simply being in a relationship is no substitute for studying. Communication is key to every relationship, whether romantic or not. If you fail to continue expanding your vocabulary and you stop learning the language on your own, your relationships may suffer or fizzle out. Without question, spending time with native speakers can help you dramatically improve your language proficiency. But this is no replacement for focused studying. It's essential to help facilitate better communication and master the language. Want to transform your driving time into language learning time? How much time do you spend in your car every day? 30 minutes? More than an hour? Why not put this huge amount of time to good use? Instead of just listening to the radio during your daily commute, you could be learning a new language instead. Here are 3 easy methods for learning a language in your car. You can put them to use right away with the help of our language learning program. First, you can listen to fun audio lessons by real teachers. Listening to lessons while in the car allows you to focus on the road as you listen and learn. In every one of our 3 to 15-minute lessons, our teachers teach you conversations, new phrases, and cultural points. Audio is the only learning medium that lets you learn and drive safely at the same time, so take advantage of all our audio lessons available. Second, you can set your lessons on autoplay and go hands-free. Our autoplay feature lets you keep your hands on the wheel without even reaching for your device. Just set your lessons to autoplay one by one with our Innovative Language 101 app, and never have to interrupt your focus on driving to switch to a new lesson. Third, you can repeat out loud and speak from your very first lesson. You want to speak a new language too, right? Well, you'll start learning conversations minutes into your lessons. All you have to do is listen and repeat out loud. Our teachers take you step by step through all of the words, phrases, translations, and grammar points. You're even prompted to speak out loud and repeat. The result? You understand it all and can speak your new language. Turn your commute into language learning time and have fun at the same time. Learning doesn't have to be a big commitment, like signing up for a college class. It can be fun and easy. In fact, it's as easy as pressing play. Our language learning programs will do the work for you. And with the exposure you get while driving on your daily commute, you'll be speaking and understanding real-life language quickly. The best part? You can finally learn without even changing your schedule. So if you're ready to finally learn a new language the fast, fun, and easy way, sign up for your free lifetime account by clicking on the link in the description. Signing up takes less than 30 seconds, and you'll start speaking from your very first lesson. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a new language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. I'll see you next time. Bye! The 3 powerful language learning lessons you'll pick up at the gym. And today, you're going to learn 1. How to approach your goals, 2. How to find time to learn a language, and 3. Why you don't need the best possible routine or learning program. So, if you've ever spent time in the gym, you'll quickly see how similar training and language learning are. But before we move on, listen up. Here are this month's new lessons and resources. First, want to perfect your pronunciation? Then get our new pronunciation PDF cheat sheet right now. You'll learn how to sound like a native speaker and how to practice your pronunciation. Second, do you know the 7 tested ways to learn language fast? With this new ebook, you'll learn how to use our learning system to speak better, remember more words, and improve fast. Download it for free right now. Third, 20 useful phrases for a hair salon. Would you be able to get a haircut in your target language? If you said no, then this 1-minute lesson is just what you need. Fourth, 20 phrases for doing business successfully. If you're learning the language for work, this 1-minute lesson is for you. You'll learn the 20 most common greetings, phrases, and questions for business meetings. To get your free resources, click the link in the description below right now. They're yours to keep forever. Okay, let's jump into today's topic. The 3 powerful language learning lessons you'll pick up at the gym. The first lesson is how to approach your goals and language learning. So, why are we talking about the gym? The gym is a great example because it's filled with people working on their goals, and it gives you a snapshot of where most people are with their goals. And everyone there has one goal, to be fit. But not everyone is there yet. You have a few people that look like fitness models. Then you have around 20 or 30 people that have good, respectable physiques, the middle group. And then the rest of the people are still working their way up. It's motivating because everyone has a chance of succeeding. If you've been to the gym, you understand the importance of repetition, doing reps. A rep is the number of times you do a certain exercise. Like 15 push-ups is 15 reps of push-ups. So even people still working toward their goals have a chance of succeeding if they put in the reps. If they do a little bit a day over a long period of time, they'll get there. The process is simple. The more you do, the longer you stick with it, the more progress you make. And the same goes for learning language or any other goal in life. It's about putting in the reps a little bit a day, consistently, for a long period of time. If you want to get bigger muscles, you pick up a dumbbell and you do reps. If you want to learn more words, you do the reps. 5 new words a day. So, what can you do right now? For example, if you're using our program, just do 1 lesson a day. If you have a textbook, do 1 page a day. If you're using an app, put in 5 minutes a day. Again, everyone has a chance to succeed. They just need to put in the reps, and they need to make the time. This is where the second lesson comes in. You'll learn how to find and make time to learn a language. There's a reason the people you see at the gym daily, and especially the people you see at 10 p.m. on a Friday, are the ones with above-average results. They're the most consistent. But how do they get that level of consistency? There tend to be 3 types of people. First, the people that have plenty of free time, so it's a non-issue for them. Second, the busier people. They make time regardless of what their schedule is like, meaning they show up at 1 a.m. just to fit in a session, or they cancel other plans to make time. And third, the people who have made it a habit. They're so used to going that they don't have to think about it. Ideally, you want to be in the third group with language learning. But most people fall into the second group. The truth is that to make time, they have to cancel other plans. Some wake up earlier to squeeze in a session in the a.m. Some go late at night. It's the same exact thing with language learning. You make time. The good news with language learning is you don't need to open up a lesson at 1 a.m. and put in an hour. With our learning program, you'll get our quick but powerful 3 to 15-minute audio and video lessons. And because the lessons are short, you can easily make time. You can do a lesson on your commute or while walking somewhere. Imagine learning a quick conversation while on your way to the store. Finally, the third language learning lesson you'll learn at the gym is why you don't need the best possible routine to get results. Have you ever heard a friend say, "I have to start the right way. It has to be perfect"? Well, this is a disastrous way to start anything, whether fitness or language learning. And most learners spend a lot of time worrying about starting right, instead of just starting and keeping at it. But the point is, if you start learning from a textbook and stick with it, you'll get results. You'll improve your reading, vocabulary, and grammar. Of course, it won't get you speaking. You'll only get good at what you focus on. But the fact is, you'll still make progress. Same with the gym. If you start off with bicep curls, you'll see progress in time. But at some point, you'll need to add in legs as well. You can't skip leg day. So here's what you can learn. Here's what smart beginners do. They don't look for the best way to start, they just start and keep going. And once they have a consistent routine, they start optimizing. They improve their routine. If you start taking 1 lesson a day and can easily maintain that routine, then you might eventually realize that you want to practice speaking. You need to shadow that lesson's conversation. So you add shadowing to your routine, and that's how you grow. Same thing with the gym. The smart beginners make sure they do their reps and come in as much as possible. And doing the basics is enough for them to build muscle. Later on, they'll start adjusting their exercises and adding new ones. But you'll never get to that point if you overthink yourself into inaction and don't build that habit. So as long as you start and continue, most starting routines and learning methods are good enough. You don't need the best possible one right now. You could have the best possible language learning program, but if you don't use it consistently, it's useless. All right, so today you learned 1. How to approach your goals, 2. How to find time to learn a language, and 3. Why you don't need the best possible routine or learning program. Hey everyone, welcome to the Monthly Review, the monthly show on language learning, where you discover new learning strategies, motivational tips, study tools, and resources. By the way, all the free lessons and bonuses you're about to see can be downloaded on our website. So click the link in the description right now to sign up for your free lifetime account. Okay, today's topic is how to speak more of your target language, talking points for language learners. And today, you're going to learn 1. What talking points are, 2. 5 talking points you can use to start conversations and maximize your speaking time, and 3. How to get our conversation cheat sheets so you can speak even more of your target language. And you'll find out how to get them for free. If you've always wanted to speak more in your target language, then this episode is for you. I'll get into this in just a bit. If you're like most language learners, then your #1 goal is to speak more, right? You want to have fluent conversations with natives. It's a great goal to have. But for most language learners, speaking also happens to be their weakest skill. You may not know enough of the language to express yourself. You tend to run out of words and things to say. And you're just not sure how to start conversations. If you have at least one of these issues, then talking points are just what you need. Part 1. What's a talking point? A talking point is a topic that invites discussion or argument. In other words, just something to talk about. It could be about yourself, your work, your hobbies, the weather, food, or what you did this past weekend. All of these are talking points. Here's an example to help you better understand talking points. Think of a conversation you'd have with a friend. You can ask, "What did you do this weekend?" They'll reply and then ask you back. The talking point here is the weekend. Let's say your friend says they went to a restaurant. That's a natural talking point to explore next. You can ask, "What kind of restaurants do you like?" Now you've covered 2 talking points. The more talking points you have, the more you can speak. And the same goes for your target language. The only challenge is you need to know the relevant words and phrases for that topic. For example, if you want to talk about the weekend, you need to know phrases and questions like, "What did you do this weekend?" "I did this." "What about you?" In the next part, you'll discover 5 easy talking points that you can master with our learning program. Let's get into Part 2. Part 2. 5 talking points you can use. The first one is, learn how to introduce yourself in your target language. Why is this a powerful talking point? Introducing yourself is something you'll do again and again, every time you meet someone new. So learning the relevant phrases is a must. If you've done the first few lessons on our site, you can already do this. If not, then check out our Absolute Beginner lessons and the Top 25 Questions You Must Know lessons. You'll learn basic conversations with our quick 3 to 15-minute lessons. We'll give you the exact lines to use, along with the translations, so that you can use them in conversations. You can also use this talking point to continue a conversation. For example, if you've started with a different point, like the weather, then it makes sense to say, "By the way, my name is..." Talking point number 2, the weather. This is a universal talking point. People like to talk or complain about the weather all over the world. In fact, just saying, "It's really nice today," is enough to start a conversation with a native speaker. If you want to talk about the weather, check out our can-do lesson pathway called Can Talk About Weather. You'll find this pathway in the absolute beginner level of our lesson library. Talking point number 3, compliments. Compliments are another great way to start a conversation or continue one. If you're running out of things to say, you can quickly transition and say something about their city, their country, or just, "Hey, I like your shirt." If you want to learn how to compliment, check out our compliments phrase list. This list is free to access for all users. If you don't know where to find it on our site, leave a comment in the comments below and we'll follow up. Point number 4, ask for help. For example, you can ask for directions or about the price and let the conversation go from there. These are very basic phrases that you learn in our survival phrases lessons. If you want to strike up a quick dialogue, this is a great talking point to use. Point number 5, learn phrases for transactions, like getting a room at a hotel, shopping, ordering food, or telling the taxi driver where to go. You may think that this isn't much of a talking point, but for the learners that are shy about talking to random native speakers for no reason, this is an easy way to start a dialogue. You have a good excuse. You want to buy something, so the staff will be happy to respond. Again, you learn all of these with our survival phrases lessons. Okay, let's move on to our last part. Part 3, how to get our conversation cheat sheets. Lastly, I'm going to tell you how to get our collection of conversation cheat sheets for free. With these cheat sheets, you'll be able to talk about all kinds of topics: travel, hobbies, dating, family, weather, and much more, which means you can master a lot of talking points and speak more of your target language. If you'd like to get these cheat sheets, please leave us a comment in the comment section. So thank you for watching this episode of Monthly Review. Next time, we'll talk about how to double your speaking time in your target language. If you enjoyed these tips, hit the like button, share the video with anyone who's trying to learn a language, and subscribe to our channel. We release new videos every week. And if you're ready to finally learn language the fast, fun, and easy way, and start speaking from your very first lesson, get our complete learning program. Sign up for your free lifetime account right now. Click the link in the description. See you next time. Bye! Want to speed up your language learning? Take your very first lesson with us. You'll start speaking in minutes and master real conversations. Sign up for your free lifetime account. Just click the link in the description.